San Diego, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime year.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
What's up, San Diego? And a happy Monday to everybody out there in America's finest city. It's a special Monday today. It is a Monday before playoff baseball in America's finest city. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. What a fun weekend it was in sports. What a fun weekend it was in Padres land, in baseball, the NFL, college football, high school football. That was a great sports weekend. It was not a great sports weekend if you rooted for any team that Braden Surprenant roots for on the football side of things. Not a great weekend. Not a great weekend for this show in terms of their football teams. I guess Tennessee won, so that's kind of a plus. But
Giants won too.
That's right. Giants won. That's kind of, was that not a perfect? I mean, that was a total Chargers game that I was seeing.
That was fun.
As soon as that game, I'm like, this is going to be such a Chargers game. I'm going to enjoy this. But aside from that, college football, great games, terrible results if you're the show. High school football, we didn't play as well as we should have played. So, it kind of almost felt like a loss for a lot of us. But you know what? Got the dub. Big week this week for the Dons as they go up to De La Salle. But from a baseball standpoint, and we're going to get to Frank, and we're going to let Frank get out what he needs to get out. You can see it's built up. I got so many over the weekend. I got so many wellness checks for Frank. So many. And you know what I did with those wellness checks?
Nothing.
I sent Frank memes instead that were funny. I said, I'm sorry to do this. I had to do it.
Yeah, you sent.
There was a couple that were pretty funny, though.
What was the meme you sent?
Pretty funny.
What was the meme you sent?
The two guys looking at each other, which is like the new meme.
Yeah, sent that one.
The Milwaukee Brewers guy sitting there going like, we're up 4-2. What are you doing? And the Mets guy goes, we have a game? Didn't know we had a game.
Yeah, that was
one was good.
That was the meme he sent to cheer me up.
That was great. It was funny, though. Was it not funny? It was funny. Come on. It was funny. It was funny. If I got that as a Padres fan, I would think it'd be funny.
We'll try it next year. Then.
That meme is the meme. Well, next year you could try it. Like, who knows? Who knows? We still got the playoffs, Frank. There's only one team that's going to be happy at the end of the playoffs. But anyway, that's what I did with that. Padres looked pretty good this weekend. Padres look like, and again, on Friday night, Arizona was still alive in the wild card race. The Padres players that needed to kind of regroup, or should I say, get into a position where they start getting hot for the playoffs, did it this weekend. Jackson Merrill looked good this weekend. Fernando Tatis Jr. leaving the yard. Xander Bogaerts looks like he's back into the swing of things after being out for an entire month with the fracture in his foot. Manny Machado looked like he was starting to heat up. I love the lineups they had this weekend. Offensively for the Padres, they were able to get the job done this weekend, one. And two, do it with everybody else on the team. Everybody was like, I don't want to punt on the weekend. And they still got guys in and did a lot of damage against the Arizona Diamondbacks, who were obviously thinking about going to Cancun already. I thought the Padres offense looked good all weekend. Just in the right time for postseason baseball. I think from a pitching standpoint, you got everything you needed out of the two pitchers that you needed to pitch on Friday and Saturday. And it really leads into a very interesting conversation about how they're going to use the pitching staff, which we're going to talk about later on as we preview this series against Chicago. Obviously, we're not going to have too much time on this show this week to discuss playoff baseball. We get an hour for the next 2 days, guaranteed. We get an hour for the next 2 days, guaranteed. And then Thursday is always kind of crazy because Thursday Thursday's game is an if necessary game, and depending on how other series go, they usually try to change the timing a little bit. So if all games go to if all series go to 3 games and there's 4 games on Thursday, we will be again at 12:08 in Chicago. If there isn't, then there's a couple of moving parts around for Thursday. So we'll talk about that as the series play on. But tomorrow's the first day. It's like the day before it's like Christmas Eve, getting ready for playoff baseball. It's like Christmas Eve, getting ready for playoff baseball tomorrow. And there's a lot of things that we want to dive into for playoff baseball. But as we see the official season, the regular season officially come to an end, and we talk about letter grades, right? We talked about that going into last week, even though there were still some games left on the schedule. I think the Padres finished really strong. I thought they played well enough to be ready to go come Tuesday for Padres and Cubs for a best of 3 in Chicago. I saw some people that were upset with the schedule. What's the saying we have on this show, Frank?
Right, but too early.
Right, but too early. Did we not perfectly pick
Yes.
what the schedule was going to be? We knew this was going to be the case. American League Central game, which is like the most boring division in baseball. That might not be a boring series, though. Tigers and Guardians. The Guardians erased 15.5 games in the standings to win the division. They get to host the Tigers now. Wouldn't that be a shame they lost 2 out of 3 to the Tigers at home? I mean, the Tigers can flip it right now against Cleveland in the next 3 days. That's a crazy series. But out of the 4 series that are available, we knew the American League Central was going to be playing in the morning. What are they not? What is more boring in sports than an AL Central game? Play that in the morning. Although this one's got some juice. This might be the first American League Central game. That's my bit I like to throw out there. There's nothing more boring than a midweek morning game between the Tigers and the Guardians, or the Tigers and the Royals, or the Royals and the White Sox, or the White Sox and the Twins. There's nothing more boring than that division playing at 9 in the morning on the West Coast. But I tell you what, I'm intrigued to this one. This might be the American League Central series that has the most juice. They get the morning game. So then it left the Padres and Cubs, the Red Sox and the Yankees, and the Dodgers and the Reds. And the only game that played on the West Coast was the Dodgers and the Reds. So you knew that was going to be the night game. They were going to play that game at 12 in the afternoon in L.A. So that becomes the night game. They get to be the 6:08 start on the West Coast. And then it was down to the Cubs and the Padres, the Red Sox and the Yankees. Who did you actually think they were going to pick for the primetime spot? I mean, come on. You knew it was going to be Yankees, Red Sox, and that's exactly what it's going to be. As for the Padres, they get the noon spot. I saw people freaking out about that. The Cubs are used to playing day games at Wrigley. Come on. It's a 2 o'clock game at Wrigley Field. I don't think it's that big of an advantage on the whole day game versus night game. You either got guys that can play or you don't. I don't want to have built-in excuses for why the Padres don't win a wild card series because they had to play during the day. They'll be fine. The Padres will be fine. There is a lot of strategy involved, though, with this pitching staff, and there's a lot of different moving parts that I find to be very intriguing and very interesting with Padres and Cubs. And the one that really stood out to me, and we're going to talk about this more. And here's the other thing, to kind of lay out the show. In the 11 o'clock hour, the Padres are going to be meeting with the media in their pre-wild card series press conferences. So Nick Pavetta is scheduled to speak. Manny Machado is scheduled to speak. And Mike Shildt is scheduled to speak. All of those will be carried live here on 97.3 The Fan. We will have all of those for you live. We will go to Chicago, hear the press conferences. We will come back and forth. Okay, so we will get you all the coverage that you need. Anything, if you want any Padres, Cubs coverage, this is the place that you want to be. I mean, if you look at, like, MLB Network's just going to be talking about the Yankees and Red Sox for the next 48 hours. This is your place for Padres, Cubs. And a little dabble of other things, too, when we see fit. But what I want to get into, and again, the strategy that we're going to talk a little bit more is this starting rotation for the Padres in this first series. And to me, until you make it through the first series, I think it's very difficult to really plan out everything else. The Padres can do that, but let's just make it through one first. We know that Nick Pavetta is going tomorrow. We know that because he's meeting with the media again today. They've announced that Nick Pavetta is the game one starter for the San Diego Padres. That was pretty much expected. I thought you could potentially go with Michael King too, but they're going to go with Nick Pavetta. The Cubs are still yet to be determined. They haven't announced it yet officially. There's only been one matchup that's actually been announced. That's Red Sox and Yankees. Garrett Crochet is going against Max Fried. Tarek Skubal is going against the Guardians. Guardians have not announced a starter yet. Hunter Green is going for the Reds. The Dodgers haven't picked a game one starter yet. My guess would be either Imanaga or Boyd tomorrow. Probably Boyd. You're going to see some lefties. Now, the Padres have done well against lefties as of late, but we'll see what the Padres have in store for the basically two of the three pitchers that they have already seen in Chicago that they saw way back in April. And guess what? You don't have Kyle Hart starting game two like you did in Chicago the last time you were there. So let's talk about the starting rotation. I don't want to dive too much into it because we got to take a break. But it's Pavetta game one, and it sounds like they're leaning towards Cease game two, and then Yu Darvish game three. What does that tell you about what they think about Michael King in terms of like how much he's built up? They obviously don't think he could give him a lot of innings. But to be honest with you, when I started to see the Padres announce what they were going to do with certain pitchers, I thought of an interesting conversation about game two. And again, a lot of people, they don't like Dylan Cease, right? They didn't like the year he had. So it's huge mistake. They're giving up on game two. But there's a strategy there in game two that I think is interesting. And we're going to talk about it when we come back. We're going to recap the weekend very briefly. I don't know how many times, I don't know how deep you want to get into the weekend series against the Diamondbacks. Padres played well. That's all that really matters. You saw the bright spots. You know, hats off to JP Sears, eating a lot of innings. So the guys that are going to be on the playoff roster didn't have to pitch. Hats off to Yuki Matsui. Randy Vasquez is going to be a bullpen piece. I mean, there's a lot of that at stake. But there's a strategy that might be in play for game two that a lot of people might be missing. We'll talk about it when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. 10:18 on a Monday, playoff Monday. We got some news to pass along. I posted on my social media accounts, which, if you haven't done so already, follow me on social media at @B_SURP. You can follow me on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. I don't really care. I get crap from my friends for calling it X. I get crap from the young people for calling it Twitter. So it doesn't really matter. I lose either way. Whatever that app is called that you call it, I'm on there at @B_SURP. I'm on Instagram. There's no changes for names there. IG, get out your IG. I'm on there at @B_SURP. I'm on TikTok, as the kids say it. The kids using TikTok. I think TikTok's lame, but I'm on there. So if you're on TikTok, you can follow me on TikTok at @B_SURP. You can follow the show on X/Twitter at @B_SURP show. You can follow Frank Marchese, F Marks with a Z, 324, wherever you get your social media needs. You can also follow the station at 97 Through the Fan. I posted this on my Instagram story because 97 Through the Fan SD posted this as well. Join Ben and Woods, myself, the Braden Surprenant Show, and Gwen and Chris for a postseason watch party at Park 101 in Carlsbad on Wednesday to watch Game 2 between San Diego and Chicago. Park 101 is a bi-level sports bar with a rooftop deck and huge screens. There will be North County's best barbecue, craft cocktails, and will give away autographed baseballs. It's all presented by Estrella Jalisco Light Mexican Lager. Join us Wednesday at Park 101, located at 3040 Carlsbad Boulevard in the Carlsbad Village. 3040 Carlsbad Boulevard in the Carlsbad Village. I will be there after the show on Wednesday. We will not be doing the show up there, though, Frank. So we will.
Oh, we're not doing the show up
I
there?
don't think so. I was not told I'm doing the show up there. I was told we're doing the show here, and then we're driving up there.
Gotcha.
So that's fun. I think that's the case. I don't know if we're doing the show up there or not. I'd love to do the show up there.
I was under the assumption that we were.
It was a watch party. I don't know if it was a live remote. Maybe we are doing the show up there. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I don't think we are. But maybe we can get some clarification from Adam. But we will be there. I will be there. Are you going to be there?
I will try to be there, yes.
All
I do have a doctor's appointment that might conflict, but other than that, I will try.
What's more important than the Padres, Frank? Your health? Are you kidding me?
I don't know.
Don't you want to sacrifice for the Padres, Frank? That's not a team player right there.
I just
foul on Frank. Doesn't want to sacrifice his life for the better of the Padres.
I just want to sacrifice at this point. Like that's where I'm at right now.
Oh my god! All right, let's talk about Game 2. Then people are freaking out about Dylan Cease. It sounds like they're leaning towards Dylan Cease starting Game 2 of this particular series, with Darvish starting Game 3. I think they could go either way with Cease or Darvish, depending how Game 1 happens. Dylan Cease, historically against the Cubs, has made 8 starts. Now, I know this is a different Cubs roster. I understand that. But historically against the Cubs, he's 4-2 with a 2.47 ERA. That is the second best ERA he has against any team in Major League Baseball. He owns the Tigers, 10-1 with a 2.07 ERA. That's not your dad's Tigers, though, that is in the playoffs this year. In 15 starts against the Tigers, he has a 2.07 ERA. He's 10-1. Against the Cubs, he has faced them 8 times. He's 4-2 with a 2.47 ERA and almost 50 innings pitched. This season, he went 5 2/3 innings and allowed 2 earned runs, gave up 1 bomb. He did not pitch at Wrigley. He pitched here in San Diego. That was early in the season. In 2024, he shut out the Cubs in 2 starts. In 2022, he shut out the Cubs in 1 start, went 7 innings. 2021, gave up 4 earned runs over 11 innings. And in 2020, that was the only time he struggled against Chicago. He has been pretty lights out against the Cubs in his history. Now, 2020 through 2024, I mean, how many of those guys are on the Cubs now? It's kind of it's a stat that's interesting, but at the same time doesn't really matter. It's not the same Cubs team. But he's done well against Chicago. In terms of the ballparks, I mean, again, this is the organization that drafted him. It's the organization that drafted him. I don't know if there's extra juice there or whatever. But Dylan Cease at Wrigley Field, place that he has pitched many a times, is 2-1 with a 2.50 ERA. That's up there for one of the best in terms of at least starting there more than one time. That is the third best ERA he has at any ballpark in Major League Baseball. Wrigley Field, he's 2-1 with a 2.50 ERA. In 3 starts, he has allowed 5 earned runs on 10 hits, has only allowed 1 ball to go over the fence, and he has 27 strikeouts. I'm not going to sit here and tell you what of a great decision it is to start Dylan Cease. But what I am going to say is I'm starting to understand the strategy a little bit. Let's talk about Dylan Cease for a second starting game 2. Everybody's immediately like, he's got to get shelled. It's awful. It's going to be terrible. Dylan Cease, the last time he played the Cubs, the first time he went through the order unscathed. That was this season at Petco Park. Second time through, he ran into a little bit of trouble. But he gave up 3 runs, but only 2 of them were earned. If you have Dylan Cease start game 2, and here's the deal. Michael King's not starting in these games, apparently. It sounds like they want to use Michael King out of the bullpen. So that tells me a couple of things. One, it really tells me is Michael King, they don't believe is built up enough to be a starter in a playoff series yet. Michael King, a lights out bullpen arm for the New York Yankees. Michael King is one of those players we talked about, right? We talked about this last week. It takes a certain level of pitcher to be able to go back and forth between the bullpen and the starting rotation. Michael King, I think, is one of those players. He has bullpen experience. The guy was unhittable out of the bullpen for the New York Yankees. So, you're not asking Dylan Cease to give you a full start on Wednesday. You're asking Dylan Cease with his strikeout stuff, and he's got strikeout, wipeout stuff. You're asking him to get to the order once, and after that, the first sign of trouble, guess who you're going with? It's Michael King. And Michael King can probably give you 75 pitches. That's what Mike Shildt said. Michael King in the postseason, he needs a little bit of help. He's going to need a little bit of help. And out of those 2 players, who would you rather see come out of the bullpen? Is it Dylan Cease or is it Michael King? It's Michael King. So you have Dylan Cease go one time through the order. That's going to get you 3 innings. The last time he pitched against the Cubs, he mowed down that order in April this season. We're talking about this season. He mowed down that order in the first 3 innings. Put up a 0. First time through the order. I think he gave up 1 hit. That gets you 3 innings. Now it's Michael King's turn. You're asking Michael King to basically go through the order 1 time too. You don't even need him to go through the order more than 1 time. He goes through the order 1 time, and he looks like Michael King. Guess what inning it is? You've made it through 6 with Dylan Cease and Michael King, and then what do you get to? It's your bullpen. It's your bullpen. That's exactly what you wanted in game 2 anyway, right? You wanted like a bullpen day? I mean, I would rather take those 2 guys with playoff experience and those 2 players that have been there and done that before, and Michael King, who has been a lights-out bullpen piece before he was turned into a starter, who could do both things. I would rather have those 2 guys do it than piggyback with Randy Vasquez. They're going to use Randy Vasquez out of the bullpen. I don't mind him eating innings in the middle of a game as a bullpen piece. But Cease to Vasquez, not as interested as Cease to King. So you go Nick Pavetta game 1, and then in game number 2, you start with Cease, you get him through the order 1 time, get him out. And then you go with Michael King. And Michael King only has to get to the order 1 time. And now you're in the 7th inning. And now you don't even have to use Jeremiah Estrada. You can use Morahone and Miller and Suarez, and that's how it lines up. Now, you do need a contingency plan just in case something goes awry. And to me, that might be Randy Vasquez mixed in if he has to bridge the gap. But I get the strategy now. When you saw it over the weekend, it was like, hey, look, Nick Pavetta, Dylan Cease, Yu Darvish, what is going on? But if they want to use Michael King out of the bullpen, who is a guy that could probably do it more than the other starting pitchers, it makes a lot of sense to me. I understand the strategy. Now, whether or not they do that remains to be seen. But based on reading the tea leaves and some of the teases that they've played out, you go with Nick Pavetta game 1. Dylan Cease was expected to maybe get game 2 or game 3. Yu Darvish game 2 or game 3. They said Michael King out of the bullpen. They said Randy Vasquez out of the bullpen. That's how it lays out. And I'm going to tell you right now, Vasquez pitched yesterday. So maybe he needs a couple of days before they want to use him again. But I don't mind that strategy. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. What do you think? I mean, you have to win. You're going to have to use Dylan Cease if you want to win a World Series. I'm sorry to everybody that thinks you could just leave him off the roster and cut his ass. He's on the team. You're going to have to use him. And I'm going to tell you right now, he's still better than Sean Manaea, and he's still better than Mike Clevenger. And you had to use both of those players when you went to the NLCS. You're going to have to rely on what you have, and it's Dylan Cease, and you're only asking him to go through the order one time. I don't mind it. I think it's an interesting strategy. I think the Padres are doing the best they can with what they have and what everybody's playing right now. Want to get to your phone calls when we come back. We're going to let Frank rant about the Mets, too, when we come back. Still talking Padres baseball. Braden Surprenant Show rolls on. San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. This hour 97 through the Fan is brought to you by U.S. Wellness Meats. Overwhelmed by processed foods, U.S. Wellness Meats offers an all-natural alternative, 100% grass-fed beef, pork, poultry, wild-caught seafood, and more. Ship free from family farms. Get 20% off your first order at uswellnessmeats.com. All right. We're going to take a quick break in this. People are calling you out, Frank. You know what? We got to let you have it. I got to let Frank be Frank about his New York Mets and the collapse that they had at the end of the season, and what everybody did not know but Frank. Frank knew it was going to happen. Frank said it was going to be the Marlins that kept them out of the playoffs.
I told you it wasn't going to be just the Marlins, that it was going to be the Nationals as well. The Mets and Marlins have a very storied history together, as annoying as it is. I told you when that last six series came out, that it was going to be the Phillies, that it was going to be the Nationals and the Marlins that knocked the Mets out of the playoffs. They went 2-4 in those 6 games. 2-4. So I knew it was going to happen. Called the shot, and it was 100% accurate. There were 23 games over the last 3.5 months, as Gary Cohen put it, of this slow motion collapse where the Mets were leading going into the late innings. 2 of those games were here, as a matter of fact. They were up 5-1 going into the 5th inning here twice. They were leading, they were tied, in the 9th inning, bottom of the 9th inning, tied with the bases loaded, less than 2 outs. There was a game where they were in extra innings, runners on 2nd and 3rd in the bottom of the extra innings with 1 out. They went 0-23 in those games. 0-23. The Mets played 70 games this year where the Mets were losing going into the 8th inning. They were 0-70. They were the only team in Major League Baseball to not win a game when going into the 8th inning trailing. To put that into perspective for you, even a team that we were anticipating all year long to be worse than the worst team in the history of baseball, the Colorado Rockies, were able to win a game in which they were trailing after 8 innings this year. And the Mets were not. I don't care about the injuries to the pitching staff. I don't care about the injuries to the bullpen. I don't care about the injuries to the players. This is not going to change. It is not going to change next year either because of a report that Andy Martino had said yesterday, that he put out on Twitter yesterday, that the Mets are in no way, shape, or form considering moving on from Carlos Mendoza. He had 3.5 months to get this team to win one game. Not even yesterday's game. Just one of those 23 games. Just one of those 70 games. He had 3.5 months. And they didn't do it.
That was a tough tweet that I saw too.
That is
all the games that they showed where they had leads, and the quote is, "We just needed to win one of these."
Yeah, just one. That was it. That's all you needed.
Was 5-1 lead on the Padres. One of those games.
2 of them
lost.
2 of them. They had a 5-1 lead on the Padres.
They had leads on the Dodgers and lost, and extras. They had big leads on other teams and lost. I mean,
they lost.
Epic collapse.
They lost a game in Washington 7-1. They were leading going into the 8th inning and lost. Mendoza has to get fired. Period. Stop. He's got to go. You're not the leader of a slow motion deterioration and get to keep your job. It doesn't happen.
All these games, I just pulled it up. They were up 4-3 on the Nats in the bottom of the 9th inning. No outs, they lost. They were tied with the Giants in the bottom of the 9th inning. Home team and lost. As an away team in LA, they were up 5-4 going to the bottom of the 9th inning and lost. They had a 5-1 lead on the Padres in the top of the 5th and lost that game. They had a 7-1 lead on the Nationals in the bottom of the 7th inning and lost that game. 3-2 lead over the Braves in the bottom of the 6th inning. They were the home team, lost that game. 5-5 tied with the Guardians. They had the bases loaded and 1 out in the bottom of the 9th inning as the home team, and they lost that game. 5-5, bottom of the 12th as a home team.
It was against the Dodgers.
Bases loaded, 1 out. They lost that game. Mets had a 5-0 lead on the Brewers, top of the 4th. Lost that game. Had a 2-0 lead on the road in Atlanta in the top of the 6th. They lost that game. 4-1 lead on Atlanta as a road team in the bottom of the 8th inning. They lost that game. Had a 1-0 lead on the Orioles as an away team in the bottom of the 8th. Lost that one. Mets had a 3-0 lead on the Nationals, bottom 4. Lost that game. 4-0 on the Phillies early on in the contest in the bottom of the 1st. Lost that game. Another 5-1 lead for the Mets against the Padres in San Diego. Lost that game. 6-0 lead on the Braves at home in the bottom of the 3rd. Lost. 3-3 tie with the Nationals. Bottom of the 9th inning. Bases loaded, 1 out as the home team, and the Mets lost. Tied 5-5 as the home team with the Guardians. Runners on 2nd and 3rd. 1 out. Bottom of the 9th inning. Lost. 2-0 lead on the Guardians, top of the 4th as a home team. Lost. Up 5-1 on the Rays, top of the 6th. Lost. 2-0 lead on the Brewers on the road, bottom 4. Lost. Had a 3-0 lead against the Braves at home, top 5. Lost. And had a 4-3 lead on the Brewers in Milwaukee, bottom of the 6th, and lost. All of those games, if they're able to hold on, they're in the playoffs. They lost all of those games. That is truly remarkable. Like, you almost have to try to do that.
To any woman out there.
Oh, man.
This is what loyalty looks like. If I can go through one watching that and then having to sit here and listen to him read it off and not jump out that window
or jump across his table and choke me,
that's called loyalty right there. I am a Met fan. There are some teams that are just destined to break your heart every single year. And this is one of those teams.
Some of those on there are just absurd.
I cannot believe it. I cannot believe what I witnessed. And you mentioned the Tigers. There's a big difference between the Tigers collapse and the Met collapse.
100%.
The Tigers blew a 15-game lead, but guess what they get to do tomorrow?
They're still in the playoffs.
They get to play the Cleveland Guardians tomorrow.
And if they take 2 out of 3, they don't care anymore.
If they win that series, that 15.5 game lead is erased
Erased.
If they make it to the championship series, that'll be a footnote in Tiger history. The Mets, had they just went 500 in those 23 games that you had mentioned, they're in the same position that the Padres were in last week, where you're talking about them beating the Dodgers in the division. They're in the same situation that the Yankees were in yesterday, talking about them possibly winning the division. And nope, we're not getting rid of Carlos Mendoza. He has to go. And no, I am not surprised in the slightest that Pete Alonso said he was going to opt out.
I'd opt out if I was him. He was the best player on the team.
You knew he was opting out when he signed the contract. You knew he was a one-year player. Whether or not he stays, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't. I really would not be surprised. And I've already seen some people on Twitter saying he's a perfect fit here. A power-hitting first baseman. I've seen it already. He would be a pretty good fit here.
Oh, in San Diego?
Yes.
You don't have the money for that.
I'm not saying you had the money for it. I'm just saying he would be a perfect fit here.
I'm sure he would.
But I would not be surprised to the team that lost their best pitcher since Tom Seaver to the Texas Rangers, a team that in their own division was overlooked at the time that they lost him. I would not be surprised if Pete Alonso is not standing at first base for the Mets next year. Would not be surprised in the slightest.
The games that stick out to me the most on this that are just infuriating. And here's why
Smashing Blumpkins, welcome back to the chat.
I don't know.
Thank you. Welcome back. It has been 4 good Xander Bogaerts months, and you have finally returned. Welcome back.
Bogaerts hit a bomb at the top of the Western Metal Supply Company building. I heard he's cooked, though. The ones that stick out to me are the Mets-Nats 7-1 lead in the bottom of the 7th. And then all of the bottom of the 9th inning where the Mets are the home team and they have multiple runners on with 1 or less than 2 outs. Or like less than 2 outs. Those are you want to know why I feel? Because that is stuff the Padres would do. That is so, like, I've seen this before. And all they had to do was win one of those games. And they're in the playoffs. It's disheartening. Do you believe in the Juan Soto knock on that? Is it a coincidence that Juan Soto was part of the epic Padres collapse and the epic Mets collapse?
No.
Or is it just
he was
coincidental?
The best player on the team this year.
I'm talking about behind the scenes,
highs.
though. We've heard a lot of stories about what he's like behind the scenes.
No.
Too much of a distraction?
No.
Your best player is Pete Alonso, and he's going to walk, and you're going to get stuck with Juan Soto.
3 more years at least. There is an opt-out in that contract.
For Juan?
Yes. There is after 4 years. There is an opt-out.
Again.
I'm just saying he wasn't the problem. Soto was not the problem. It was the leadership, the fact that they had absolutely no rotation.
They had no starting pitching.
Your opening day starter was Clay Holmes this year. Clay Holmes, who was the Yankee closer last year. That was your opening day starter this year. And everything that they did to try to fix the bullpen blew up fantastically.
They just talked about that on MLB Network.
Ryan Helsley, I took it off the computer, the TV, I could see. Ryan Helsley was god-awful this year. Even when he wasn't tipping his pitches, he was god-awful.
Gregory Soto didn't pan out, and did they have Taylor or Tyler Rogers? Which Rogers brother did they have?
The righty.
The righty. Submarine. He wasn't very good.
And how much you gave up for him as well.
And remember at the deadline, it was like, oh, wow, the Mets really upgraded their bullpen.
Yeah, upgraded in name only.
Right. Cade Horton had missed the wild card series after being placed on the injured list with a rib fracture. That's good news for the Padres. That happened over the weekend. As we dive back into Padres baseball. A lot of different strategies in terms of the starting pitching this weekend, I think. Or this week. It's midweek. Today is Monday. Are you feeling better after letting that out?
Yes and no.
True. You got to let it out, and then that's the yes part. And then the no is the fact that you have to worry about.
SB, we know, brother, we know who you are. We know what you are in this chat. Please stop trying to be cool. I'm just please stop trying to be funny. You're not. We know what you are. Just please stop.
Picking on the Mets is kind of ridiculous in general. It's a fun bit on our show, but at the same time, it's like, what have the Mets ever done to really upset anybody? Who hates the Mets more than Mets fans?
Pete Alonso got Chris Paddock mad that one time.
Oh, that's right. And he didn't even do anything. He just won the Player of the Month, the Rookie Player of the Month. What about the? I didn't see this, but like, the Mets broadcast was like upset yesterday at the end of the game with the Marlins or something.
Yeah, they took a team picture, and Ron Darling, who I wouldn't have put it past him to say something like that, but he's like, oh, they're taking a team picture like it was the World Series. Oh, well, I guess it kind of is their World Series. Yeah, Darling, mouth shut, please.
To the victor go the spoils. Kind of happens like that. If you don't like it, you got to play better. That being said, I thought the way Oregon handled their win against Penn State was utterly ridiculous. Did you see that? They beat Penn State, and then they all run to the Penn State student section and flip them the bird. It's just like, what are we allowing athletes to do now? I can't. I get that you won, and I get that they were probably talking because they're college students.
While their goober of a head coach cries during the post-game press. Like, what are we doing?
Oregon,
here?
be better. You're Oregon. You're not like App State winning it. I mean, like, even then it would be disgraceful. I don't get it. I've never understood it. I don't understand this like new generation of kids and athletes. I'm gonna sound like an old man yelling at clouds. I see it at the high school level too. I've seen many of kids talk to us on the sideline as they're losing, but talking about like, oh, I don't care if we lose. I have 200 yards. What are the kids last week did that? I don't care if we lose. I got 200 yards against you guys. I was like, what? Bro, you're getting your ass kicked right now. You're losing. Like, what? But that's how it is. Maybe I'm the one out of touch. The personal accolades over the team accolades drive me crazy. They do. They drive me crazy. I can't believe it. The way that Oregon handled that win over Penn State, I thought was kind of classless. But you know what? As much as that's the case, to the victor go the spoils. I mean, that's how it is. To the victor go the spoils. If you don't like it, you got to play better. But it's kind of crazy. I just, some of the reactions. I mean, the Marlins taking a team photo at the same time. It's like, come on. Really? You guys don't like that going to the beach now? It's just, it's crazy. As Cole Brooks in the chat says, that's the issue with society today. It's all about me and not about we. That's definitely the case. I mean, you deal with that. We deal with that on a daily basis, trying to get kids to buy into something that's bigger than them. It's hard to do. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We got a lot of Padres stuff we got to break down in terms of starters for the wild card series. We've talked about this. The playoff picture. What are they going to do with certain players? Nick Pavetta, the only member of the rotation able to perform on a consistently high level this season, will start Tuesday in Game 1, as laid out by Kevin AC. At Wrigley Field. Indications are that Cease will start Game 2, though the Padres have not announced that. It seems Darvish will get the ball if a Game 3 is necessary. That's no Michael King. They said Michael King will probably come out of the bullpen. Padres could yet decide King is the fit for Game 3, but the planned short outing for him last night, this was written a couple of days ago, allows him to come back as soon as Wednesday out of the bullpen. Again, reading the tea leaves. I think that's a good idea. If you're going to use Dylan Cease in the series, I'd have Michael King piggyback off of Dylan Cease. I talked about that in the last segment before we let Frank discuss the Mets. What are your thoughts on that? I think that's the right strategy to go in this wild card series.
Oh, I do too. And if you're gonna do it, I would do it if they win Game 1. If you win against Pavetta, if you win with Pavetta in Game 1, then I could see you going with a Dylan Cease in Game 2. And then kind of using a bullpen game in Game 2 because you have the advantage. You have a game to give. Cubs need to win So they're going to be throwing it all out there. If you lose game one, I find it harder to justify a bullpen game in game two where you need to win. I don't mind Cease going in game two. I would feel less stressed about it if they won game one. So tomorrow is a must-win game.
Well, the team that wins the first game usually wins the series. I think statistically,
Yes.
in these wild card series. If you look back at all the Padres wild card series they've had, whether they've had two, they played the Mets and the Braves, they won game one in both of them. They won game one and game two against the Braves, and then they split with the Mets in the first two games, and then Joe Musgrove won it in game three. I don't mind the bullpen in game two because the thing is that's your best asset. If you lose game one, you need to be able to use your you can't not have your bullpen be deployed in this series when it's your best asset that the team has. You don't want to be the next Zach Britton sitting in the bullpen just waiting and never being used if you're the San Diego Padres. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We'll talk more about the pitching. We'll talk about how everything else lays out in Major League Baseball as well as we take a look at some of the games, plus that coming hour, live press conferences from Wrigley Field on the Braden Surprenant Show. Hey, we'll see it, buddy. Out. Got the boot. I don't get the trash talk in the chat. I mean, like, I'll rant for a second. I mean, there's a guy in there that we haven't seen in like 4 months that like jumped in to give Frank just like hell for no reason. And then everybody else in our YouTube chat for literally no reason. And then hides behind a fake name. Yo, if you're going to do it, use your name. Let's see who you are. I mean, say what you mean what you say. I put everything out there under Braden Surprenant. This is who I am. This is who I am. I'm going to tell you how I feel. I'm going to tell you what I think, my opinions, and I attach my name to it. I attach my name to everything I do. It's why I take time and effort to make everything that my name is on the best it possibly could be because it represents me as a person. That's everything I do. That's this show. That's doing broadcasts at USD. That's coaching high school football. My unit that I coach at Cathedral, my name is on that. I'm going to go out there and put my name out there on everything that I do. This is me. This is what I come up with. Don't be the person that hides behind fake things. You're either confident to say it or you're not. So if you want to chime in, go ahead. I like all type of contributions. People that call in, sometimes they give us a fake name. It's fine. Put your name on it. That's all I got to say. Put your name on it. If you're that confident and tearing everybody else down in the YouTube chat, hiding behind a fake name with no picture, you're not that sick. Put your name on it. That's all I got to say about that. We got a lot of press conferences that we got to get to. Our coverage of the postseason press conferences is presented by Trust and Will. Don't wait for extra innings. Protect your family's estate today with Trust and Will. We're going to hear from Nick Pavetta. We're going to hear from Manny Machado. We're going to hear from Mike Shildt. All of those gentlemen will be talking to the media in this next hour. We're going to carry it live for you to get all of everything you need for playoff baseball. I do want to get to your phone calls. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Let's get out to the phones. Alex in La Jolla, you're batting leadoff on the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on, Alex?
Hey, what's up, Braden? Thanks for having the phone call. I personally, don't feel that the Marlins, taking a team picture in the Met Stadium after that. Like, if you're out of the playoffs and you take a division rival out of the playoffs, then you should 100% celebrate that. Other than that, it's just, I don't know. I feel like everybody in the sports world is just so soft right now. Like, they take one slight and then all of a sudden think that it's their entire fan base going after themselves, and that's kind of all I got.
All right, Alex, appreciate the phone call. I mean, to the victor go the spoils. I mean, I say it all the time. If you don't like it, you got to play better. But I do think there's a couple of I do think a lot of sports now go too far. I think a lot of them go too far. It's more of a like look at me kind of thing instead of look at us. To take a picture when you're the team that's not even going to the playoffs and you take a team picture, it's kind of weak. It's kind of weak. I have to say it's kind of weak. But you can do what you want. You won. I'm cool with that too. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to call you weak. I think it's kind of weak. Where was that energy all year? Maybe you would have made the playoffs.
They almost did, honestly.
They almost did, but they missed out. And guess what? They ain't going to the playoffs. Now you have this cool picture of, hey, look, we knocked out the Mets.
Again.
They're going to hang the banner. Go ahead, hang the banner. Go ahead and hang the banner. Sportsmanship's gone, by the way. I'm going to tell you that right now. Anybody that thinks that people are good sports at any level, I laugh at it. There's no such thing as sportsmanship. I haven't seen sportsmanship in like 15 years. There's no such thing as sportsmanship. You're talking about a sport, too, in baseball. They don't even shake hands after games. They shake hands with themselves. I mean, like, what is sportsmanship? I watch high school thing. There's no sportsmanship in high school sports. That's why I think it's funny when CIF gives away, like, the sportsmanship award. I laugh. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? You want to see sportsmanship? Oh, go watch kids under the age of 13 play sports right now. It's amazing. And it's not their fault. Their parents are it's just crazy. But like you watch like little league kids, I mean, there's no sportsmanship. You got kids like bat flipping home runs. Hey, let the kids be kids. You can't have it both ways. You can't have a kid like go out and have fun and then expect him to be like a good sport about it. Like there's no such thing. There's no such thing. It's gotten out of hand. It's been out of hand. It's crazy. I don't like it. But you know what? I get it. That's how it is now. That's the norm. So I'm not going to fight it too much. But you see it all the time. I mean, sportsmanship? Are you kidding me? It's like the playoffs conversation with Jim Moore. Sportsmanship? It's like AI. Talking about practice. Talking about sportsmanship? Sportsmanship? There's no sportsmanship in sports anymore. Look at the pros all the way down. I think Oregon is good sports. Was sportsmanship after the game against Penn State? Give me a break. Sore winners, sore losers. That's what we are now. I mean, that's just how it is. Good sportsmanship. Come on now. Come on. It's crazy. It's war out there. Yeah, apparently it is. But like not shaking hands, kids talking crap, kids showboating all the time. I mean, it is what it is. I personally don't like it, but I understand that's what it is now. That's what I see at like almost all youth events. It's kind of crazy. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. And people in the YouTube chat are saying the same thing. I mean, I watched so many different high school teams. I mean, sportsmanship is not even close to being on display in any of these games. It's very rare that you see it. And when you see it, it's great. It warms your heart a little bit. But I don't see it, which is interesting. But it comes from the top. This is why when people say, like, oh, you got to let the kids play at the pro level, you understand that, like, the youth is going to do the same thing. This is why people argue about that all the time. Like, maybe we should tone it down a little bit. We want to talk about Padres baseball. We got to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk more about the Padres lining up with the Cubs, and we will start hearing from some of the Padres players as we will give you our postseason press conference coverage when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. 11:13 on a Monday. I don't really like talking about the sportsmanship thing, right? Obviously, but like, I felt like I feel like we can change it back. I feel like we can get kids to just respect their opponent. And I don't see it right now at the high school level. I don't see it at the youth level. And that's not everybody. I don't like, again, generalizing is too far. There are some great kids out there that respect, and there is some sportsmanship, but it's getting few and far between. And we as adults have to change that. This is an adult problem, not a kid problem. The kids are just following what they see from the adults. Needs to change. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We're trying to get to our postseason press conference coverage, which is presented by Trust and Will. Don't wait for extra innings. Protect your family's estate today with Trust and Will. Nick Pavetta is expected to be talking very soon. He's expected to talk around 11:15 Pacific time, so we're just going to kind of wait for him to be ready to go. We're going to have all your coverage for Padres baseball, Padres Cubs, and on the docket today for the next kind of hour or so is press conferences. And here's Nick Pavetta.
And what I've done this year, and just going out and executing my game plan, and just relying on my teammates behind me to make defensive plays and to put up runs, and just to go through it like it's another night.
Go to Jesse all the way on the left.
Nick, why do you think you've had maybe the best season of your career, especially first year with a new team? Sometimes there's an adjustment period, but your numbers across the board are really good. Why do you think that has occurred?
I think we could get into a lot about that, but I think for me, it's really honing in on the fundamentals of the game. Making some slight adjustments mechanically and with how my pitching arsenal works. But just being able to consistently be in the strike zone, attacking hitters, getting ahead of hitters, and putting myself in advantageous counts, and being able to put guys away. Has led to success, and just being able to kind of repeat that over and over again. You see great pitchers in the game. One thing they have is consistency, and I was able to kind of do that throughout the whole season.
Go middle in the aisle.
Nick, with this Cubs lineup in particular, what stands out so far in your prep about facing them?
Yeah, I don't want to go too much into my game plan with them, but just talking to them as baseball players, as people, it's a great organization, great hitters. They've had a good year this year, so you can't take them lightly. But I've had some experience against individual hitters and the team as a whole this year, so look forward to the challenge. But I think it's just making sure that I'm staying in at advantageous counts, getting ahead of them, and just putting pressure on them.
It's your first year with the organization, but this is a group that has a lot of postseason experience. What gives you confidence that this group can make a deep run?
Yeah, you can definitely just rely on your teammates through their experience, kind of like what you said. I don't have to do too much. These guys have been here before. They're here very recently. They have an understanding of what everybody's goal is in mind, and that's to win a World Series. So this is the first step, first game. But I think having that experience and being able to kind of hone in on that is really important.
We'll go back to Kevin in the front, then we'll go to Jesse in the second row.
I know it's about as long ago as it could be within one season, but you faced these guys. They were pretty patient with you. Didn't go extremely well that day. You've been a lot. You haven't had a day like that since. Well, what did you learn from that one? What will you take into tomorrow?
Yeah, I watched that start back. I had a decent start against them earlier in the season at our house, and then kind of struggled. I think I got myself more into a trouble than I needed to. I was walking more hitters. I think I had bases loaded 3 times in that game. So staying out of those situations, like I said, getting ahead of guys, attacking the strike zone, allowing my defense to make plays, trying to get us in the dugout as quick as possible, I think will lead to success.
When you arrived here today, it appeared you took like a moment to walk around and all that. What was going through had?
For me, I think it's just taking in the moment, but I enjoy this field. It's a very beautiful day here in Chicago. The sun's nice. I haven't had much time to be outside, so I just kind of walked around the stadium, got a good photo. I think you just take in the moments and you appreciate them, very grateful for them, and very excited too.
Jesse.
Nick, what do you know now about Mike and Ruben and the Padres that obviously you couldn't have known when you arrived back in February?
I think it's the determination to win. I think with the amount of work that goes in on the daily basis, the amount of group think and chatter, that you see everybody showing up and doing their parts. It's an organization as a whole working together. And now it's just how far can the players go and provide that, those wins and those things on the field. But it's just a bunch of professionals working and grinding for us players and trying to put us in the best position to win.
Go to Bruce up here by the speaker.
Nick, every pitcher has a player, and this team it's Justin Turner. What have you tried? What have you done with him in the past to try to get him out?
What do you mean by every team has a player? Are you talking about
every pitcher has a?
Are you referring to he's hit me well, or is
yeah,
that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know if Justin's going to be in the lineup, to be honest with you. But if he comes in the lineup, attack him like I always have, and hopefully the cards go in my direction.
Hey, Nick, you mentioned you got a picture when you were walking around. Where did you get the picture?
Just behind home plate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What do you like about this place? Coming here and pitching.
I think every baseball player appreciates Wrigley Field for its history. I think it's a very unique field. I think it's just a cool field. I like green, so the color of green is nice. But I think it's just part of baseball history. It's baseball in general. I have a great appreciation for the sport and every field, individual and person. But it's just, I think, just being cognizant, being present, it's just very important.
Jesse?
Nick, what's the prep like for a team that'll steal some bases compared to one that doesn't run that much?
I think it just goes into, we have our coaching staff who, tells us who the runners are, where they like to take off, what counts, how they like to steal bases. But I think it's just being cognizant of them being on base and mixing your times, making sure you're providing a quick delivery to the plate to give the catchers appropriate time to throw the runner out. But I think it just comes down to your game plan and understanding who the runners are and who the runners aren't, and just keeping a mental note in your mind as the game's going on. And I think the best key to success is not letting anybody on base.
On the back left.
Nick, you mentioned facing the Cubs earlier this season. Is there an advantage for one side or the other, given that you guys haven't played each other since way back in April?
I don't really know. I think playoff baseball is playoff baseball. It's a different beast. It's a different game. I think we're just going to go out there like it's game one and just go out there and, go at each other like we always do. It's exciting time for baseball, and we're going to give them our best, and they'll probably give their best as well.
Anything else for Nick? Take one last one with Bruce.
Nick, in a short series like this, does home field advantage really matter? From your perspective, your experience, Wrigley Field, you guys at home, is there a difference here?
I think it's always enjoyable. For either team to play in front of their home crowd. Obviously, they have their home clubhouse, which is always important. But at the end of the day, it's two teams playing the same game. It's who's going to come out on top, who's going to execute in the right situation, who's going to get the runners in, and who's going to throw up zeros.
All right, Nick, appreciate the
time. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
See you tomorrow.
That was Nick Pavetta live in Chicago. Our coverage of the postseason press conferences is presented by Trust and Will. Don't wait for extra innings. Protect your family's estate today with Trust and Will. I'm Braden Surprenant. He's Frank Marchese. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2. San Diego's number one sports station, 97 through the Fan. At this point in time tomorrow, we'll be getting ready for Padres baseball. 12:08. First pitch tomorrow. We should be ready to go for that, obviously. It sounds like Nick Pavetta is locked in. There are a lot of dumb questions that were asked by media members that I don't know. Obviously, Chicago media members. Where did you take that picture? What was the I'm like, what?
Like, dude, why? This is a guy about to start game one of the postseason.
This guy,
What are we doing?
This guy owns you, but he comes off the bench. Like, how do you feel about that? Sorry, what? Some of the questions, man. Like, what? Can't believe that. Nick did a great job. Nicky P did a great job. Anyway, so we have Nick Pavetta. So coming up next is Manny Machado, correct?
Manny should be up at around 1:45, and then Shilt's at 2.
All right, let's get back to the phone calls. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Clay in South Bay. What's going on, Clay?
Hey, gentlemen, it was a great sports weekend. Well, minus my Cleveland Browns losing, but other than that, what can you say?
Is it time, Clay, to not start Joe Flacco?
Good gosh. I can't blame it on Joe. I got to blame it on the defense not showing up for whatever reason yesterday. But hey, again, the talking heads had him 0-6 to start the season. We're not there yet, so no, not yet.
All right.
If we lose one more, then it's time.
There's Dylan Gabriel time in Cleveland. All right, Clay, what do you got for me Padres-wise today? Clay, lost him. What's going on, Clay? Let's get out to Brandon and Carlsbad. Brandon, what's going on? We fired up on a Monday, buddy. What's happening?
Let's go, man! Sound the trumpet! Ain't no excuses anymore. No turning back. We're here. This is where we wanted to be. And as you can see with those poop bags from up north, they can keep the division because they didn't get no first-round bye. So either way, let's go to war, boys. I don't care who's hurt, who's pitching. It's time to go win some postseason baseball. I just love it. I like to get people pepped up and fired up. We've made it again. This is all we want as fans. I can go into, some depth on the pitching and some questions. But you know what? We're in the postseason. We worked our butts off. Let's go make it happen, boys. What do you say, B? What's up, Frank? Yahoo! All right, guys, I'm out.
Brandon and Carlsbad. Get everybody fired up on a Monday. You think we'll see Brandon and Carlsbad at the watch party?
As Rod said in the chat, decaffeinated
That is
as well.
That was decaffeinated, Brandon. Don't let that guy get some caffeine in his system. He'll explode. Cody in the chat. Blood pressure just went up. Get him! Get him! Love it. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Thomas and Del Cerro, what's going on, man?
Wow, that was the fastest I've ever been on.
What do you got for us today, buddy?
Well, I don't know if you ever talking. I just turned in. I don't know if you had a topic. I said something to sound a little last week, and I want to say it again to you guys. And, I want to talk about Jesse Yegler. I mean, he's become one of my favorite radio broadcasters, and he does an amazing job. Him and Tony and you guys, great job too. Jesse Yegler, and I like his stuff. I just hope to hear him in many, many, many years to come. And just want to say you guys keep up the good work. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it, Thomas. Thank you very much. Padres baseball time. You can listen to all the games on the radio, by the way. Don't have to watch the national broadcast on ABC.
Exactly
you can
right.
watch the broadcast, mute it, and listen to us.
Don and Mud may be done, but Jesse and Tony will go through
the entire postseason. Then hopefully get some World Series. Jesse and Tony, how about that? Sounds pretty good. We got time for one more. Gary and UTC, what's going on, man?
Hey, my pulse just went up a little bit to my workout after listening to Braden there. I got pretty charged up. That was awesome.
I love it.
But yeah, it was. But it was good watching the Padres this weekend, kind of getting tuned up. They were attacking the pitcher, I thought, really, really well. Saw some guys, like you mentioned, getting heated up at the right time. I hope they keep this up. I really love these guys. I just wish, I'm old school, but I've now got my foot in each camp. I just wish that the Padres had a pitcher like my old buddy, Mickey Lolich of Detroit. 71, I think he was 20 5-13 and pitched 371 innings, he'd go out there and he wouldn't care. He'd just throw until you dragged him off. I think the Padres would be good to have somebody like him, but I don't think they'd let him even go that far anymore. But anyway, go Padres. I'll be watching them, whoever pitches, and let's keep going.
Yeah, I appreciate the phone call, Gary. We got to take a quick break. When we come back, Manny Machado meeting with the media in Chicago. We'll have that press conference for you live right here on the 97.3 The Fan. Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. 11:35 on a Monday, press conference Monday. We can't count on much, but you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Stream your local NFL game live every Sunday, all season long, starting at just $30 for your first year. That's like $250 a month. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. I mean, we have some like football stuff planned just in case, but the reality is, this is the pregame coverage. This is the pre-series coverage of Padres and Cubs. This is the deep dive into Padres and Cubs this week. We want to get your phone calls. How are we feeling, Padre fans, about this series in Chicago? 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. We're going to talk some more about other things in Major League Baseball. Wild card series previews. Padres starters of the wild card series, kind of the how things play out. We'll go around Major League Baseball, all of that stuff. That's going on today. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Coming up in the next 9 minutes or so, Manny Machado should be meeting with the media. I wonder if they ask him his favorite color. Or some other dumb things that they asked. I just it's crazy. Some of the questions that were asked to Nick Pavetta. Hey, this guy owns you. What do you think about that? I don't know. I'm just going to kind of attack him the same way, I guess. Sometimes, when I hear questions, I just go what did you think he was going to say?
You know what I think of when I hear questions like that?
What do you think?
Given by the media?
Mm-hmm.
These are really the guys that Mike Shildt thinks is trying to get him in a gotcha. These are the intellectual giants that are trying to put a manager in a gotcha position.
I feel the thing is most of the questions that were done were not San Diego media members. It was voices I've never heard before.
Still, then that just means you have to put on a good impression, which means you don't ask questions like, where did you take the picture you took on social media? Which, I don't know, maybe look at the picture to find out where he took the picture.
Where'd you take the picture? I was out down front. What? I saw this in the chat. I didn't want to talk about this. Our guy Tim Palmer on YouTube here. First time, long time, quick poll question. How do we feel about pulling the kids out of school for these games? Noon starts have me conflicted. I don't know. You taking off work, Tim?
Yeah,
I don't know. If to me, it's an away game. It's tough because what are you gonna do? Have them watch it at home?
I don't care if it's an honor roll student. Any kid leaving school early is going to be happy with leaving school early. Yank them. Watch the game.
I'm going to tell you what my parents would never do. Pull me from school to watch a Padres playoff game. That was definitely not on the agenda. In fact, I barely got to leave school early when my dad was coaching in the CIF championship game at Qualcomm Stadium. I only got pulled when his teams were in it because they play at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So
did you want to leave school though?
Of course.
Well, there
absolutely.
You go. There's your answer.
I was not getting pulled from school. Now
Kids
here's
will be
the
happy.
Deal. All the teachers out there, this is a PSA to you, and I know some of you watch or listen, because when you're on your prep break, especially the high school teachers, I have been told that they hear my voice throughout certain campuses. Okay, so here's the deal: you have to have the game on somewhere.
Yes.
Because guess what they're going to be doing anyway in class, especially the high school kids.
They're going to be looking at the game.
The high school kids are watching on their phones or on their iPads or whatever it may be. They're going to be watching the game. I'm telling you that right now. They're going to be watching the game. Be a cool teacher. Put it on somewhere. It's movie day for the next 3 days. It's movie day. You guys can watch a documentary on Padres baseball. That's what it's going to be. I had a teacher in high school. I don't know where he's at now. His name is Mr. Owen. His name was Mr. Owen. Jeff Owen. Probably one of my favorite teachers ever in high school at Cathedral. He might be at Torrey Pines now. I don't know. But Mr. Owen, I took his world history class as a sophomore. He was like a 28-year-old teaching high school kid, so he was already super cool. We would watch, and this is how he would do it. So everybody on YouTube, he'd put quotes up. He was like, "We're going to watch a documentary in class today."
The life and times of the San Diego Padre.
We're going to watch a documentary. Everybody say it with me, class. We're going to watch a documentary. And then he puts Saving Private Ryan on. He's like, so when your parents ask what you did in world history class today, what are you going to tell them? We watched a documentary. So, teachers out there, this is city pride. You're going to teach them a lot by buying into city pride. Put the game on.
This was
You're going to watch a documentary on America's pastime in San Diego. It could be educational. It could be very educational. You're watching history as it happens.
Especially if you're a baseball coach. That is an educational moment. Like, see how he got down to field that grounder? That's how you do it.
How
now
about
you
this?
can now applaud.
Math. This is a great time to teach kids about statistics and analytics. They can follow along. Teach them how to do the book. We're trying to fight for these guys here. The kids don't have a lot to say. They got to fight the man here.
English class, listen to how the broadcasters speak.
How they tell a story. That's great. This is great.
History class, tell them about the history of this team having problems. Tell them about the 100 plus years of the Cubs losing. It works.
You know what? I took a class in college.
If you're watching in Spanish, put it on ESPN Deportes.
Yeah, put it in Spanish. Also great. Also great. Don't pull the kids from school, but teachers should be help the ball club out. Don't be the teacher that's like anti-fun.
And I know for a fact, if they had it in 2011, I'm 99.9% positive they have it now. 2011, we had a television in every single classroom that you could watch cable television on. And I know that because I did most of the time during lunch. Put the game on.
Cathedral is an Apple distinguished school. Apple TV probably has a way to watch the Padre game tomorrow.
It's on ABC.
It's on ABC. It's on broadcast cable or broadcast.
The American Broadcasting Network for all of you AP history students out there.
That's right.
Learn about the American Broadcasting Channel.
First broadcast was a baseball game. It was
in 2025.
Columbia and whatever. You can see how it's evolved. I'm just saying. We can make this educational for the kids.
And principals,
so they can stay in school.
Principals, please.
Don't
be stuck up jerks about this.
I don't know how anybody's getting work done.
Don't be stuck up jerks. Let them watch the game.
It's so funny the different lines of work, right? So like
district, don't be stuck up jerks. Nobody likes you anyway. Curry a little bit of favor with people.
When I told when we found out the game times, my brother who works in insurance was like upset. He's like, how am I going to watch? I got work. I was like, oh, this is great. Got an hour and then we get to go watch at a watch party. This is where the benefits of working in sports broadcasting pay off. Right here. Let the kids watch the game. It's probably, honestly, more important than anything you're talking about in class. I hate to say it.
Probably
when we
be
go on
remembered
trips,
and referred to more often.
Our kids are flying to San Francisco this weekend, Walnut Creek, to play De La Salle. I'm going to tell you right now, they're going to learn more with Coach Surprenant than they're going to learn in a classroom, learn about osmosis.
Wait a second.
Or something bio, whatever.
What are you doing?
It's called life, Frank. Teach them about life. They will learn more on that trip than they will learn in whatever class they're taking on a Thursday.
You're going to teach them about hot ice?
No.
So
it's a great time to watch Rookie of the Year. How about that? Baseball in the movies. Cubs, Rookie of the Year. Hey, Padres baseball. I'm just saying. We can help the kids out. You're on your own when it comes to work. I wonder how many people are sick tomorrow. How many people are going to be sick tomorrow?
Well, now you've also got to pick your spot, too.
Yeah.
Are you going to be sick tomorrow or are you going to be sick on Wednesday?
I mean, Preston said the illness that him and his son currently have, that takes a couple of days.
It does. You're right. But also, here's the thing. If you call off sick tomorrow, they're playing on Wednesday. If you call out sick on Wednesday, you don't know if they're playing the next day.
No.
I would say take
that's
Wednesday.
the phone call.
I would say take Wednesday off.
That's the phone call where you're like, I'm feeling better, but not really.
You can miss tomorrow. If there's one of the two games you're going to miss, you can miss tomorrow because they are guaranteed to play again. Wednesday, they're not guaranteed to play.
This is why
again.
you save the PTO. You save the PTO for times like these. Is Manny talking yet?
No, he is not.
All right. You save the PTO for times like these. I think a great PTO day, if you just like bank PTO, a great PTO day for me that we can never do because we don't broadcast it, so we don't get preempted, so we're on the air during the first 2 days of March Madness. That is the greatest PTO day possible. The Thursday, Friday of March Madness. Those are great PTO days. I can have the excuse that I'm taking off for my birthday. But you know what? That's the best. If you're going to take PTO for sports, that's the best day to do it. Because, again, playoff baseball, you can, but you don't know what time you're going to play yet. PTO for the first 2 days of March Madness, that is clutch. I got a friend that does it every year. I'm jealous every year. It's phenomenal. Getting married, so I have to save my PTO for that. That's unfortunate.
No, you call out.
Weddings
out sick for that.
You call out sick for that. I'm going to tell you right now. I got a video from Nikki P at the wedding. He's in a full white suit, like everything's white, looks great. Right after Oregon beats Penn State, throws in the group chat with all the Penn State guys, gives the Cam Ward. Gives the Cam Ward in the suit.
By the
at
way,
the wedding.
By the way,
Nikki P, top rope, didn't care about anybody's feelings. Just like, Sco Ducks.
By the way, we couldn't get Pat McAfee a matching jacket. He looked like such a dope being the only one in cream instead of like a full white suit.
What was that for? On game day?
On game
What did they
day.
do? Oh, was that for their whiteout?
Yeah.
They participate in the whiteout attire? I don't watch College Game Day. I'm not up early enough. Actually, I am up early enough. I'm just watching film. Nikki P, top rope. Got his last laugh. I might be at a wedding. Here's the Cam Ward. Anybody know what the Cam Ward is? I've done it on YouTube like 15 times now. But anybody that's driving around, the Cam Ward puts his hand over his nose and then like almost looks like he's got an elephant trunk with his other hand, flashes in front.
Which is also apt because Alabama beat Georgia.
That was shocking to me.
Another game we got wrong. We did not have a good week in picks.
No, because it was crazy. Yeah.
I mean, we got
losing
a lot
to
of
Illinois if your SC is.
We got a lot of the
terrible.
games right. It was the spread
It's the
that
spread.
got us.
That's why we don't make any money. If we were good at picking against the spread, guess where we wouldn't be? On this show, I would be living large somewhere and not telling you my picks. That's what you have to say about the betting gurus, if you will.
By the way, folks, this is what in the radio business we call killing time.
Oh,
to
don't
get
say
to
that. This is
something
entertaining.
that's-
I'm entertaining myself. I had something else I was going to pull up on the college football stuff with the Cam
I mean,
Ward.
we could go-
It was what Cam Ward was asked after the game. This
yes.
is great.
Yeah.
I got to go see where I sent it. I was dying. I thought it was so funny.
His,
Cam
his
Ward,
post game presser.
post game bit where he was like,
Yeah.
something about a buck we asked or something like that. What was it?
Yeah.
I got to go find it. I
Yeah.
sent it to somebody, and I can't remember where I sent it.
We
Oh,
are,
here it is. Here it is.
We're bleep right now to keep it a buck.
If we keeping it a buck, we ass. If we keeping it a buck, we ass. What a phrase. What does that even mean? I would ask Chris Ello what that means.
If we're keeping it.
If we're keeping it a buck.
You've never heard that before?
No.
Really?
I haven't heard that before.
Keeping
My
it-
kids don't say that.
Keeping
at
it a
breakfast.
$1.50? You've never heard of
We're
that?
keeping it a buck. He said a buck, dude.
Well,
not
it's
a buck 50. He
a
said we're
buck-
keeping it a buck.
It's the same thing. It means if we're keeping it real.
We're keeping it real. Must be an East Coast thing.
No, it's not.
I've never heard of that.
Oh,
ever
here we
in my
go.
life.
Here we go.
All
Here's
right,
Manny.
here's Manny Machado.
Mike. Start with Kevin up here in the front.
Manny, you guys, your manager, your coaching staff, you guys put a lot of emphasis on details, a lot of preparation, a lot of field work, in addition to the other stuff that's got you here. What role kind of has that played in you guys being the team you have over the last couple of years?
I mean, it's honestly, it's just playing baseball. I think over a long season, or even doing it for years, you kind of forget all the little things. So just putting emphasizes on, this is what baseball is. It's been played for hundreds of years, and it's never going to change. Might be a little harder, might be a little tougher. Strength might be a little higher. Pitchers might be thrown a little harder, but ultimately it's about catching the ball, making the plays, and trying to be, the first team to get 27 outs.
And as far as Mike manages pretty hard sometimes, and puts an emphasis on each game while also respecting it's a long season. But how does that translate into you guys being prepared for the do or die nature of the postseason?
I mean, our job is to go out there and try to win. I mean, I don't have any intentions of trying to put on a manager hat anytime soon, or maybe ever. But yeah, I mean, our job is to go out there and play our best baseball, be prepared, be focused, and ultimately just leaving it all on the field.
Go to Sam on the left side.
Manny, this is a group that has a lot of postseason experience. How do you hope that helps you this time around in the postseason?
I mean, yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, I could hope for a lot of things, but ultimately, it's about playing together as a team and committing to winning, and that's all that you can really control. Hope is just hope at the end of the day. So, just go out there, play our best baseball, man. Worry about us, and just try to leave it out there on the field.
Go up to Bruce in the front.
Manny, you've had some good success against Matthew Boyd. Will you spend some extra time looking at your bats against him in the past? And, does any of that really matter in your feeling good when you step up to the plate against him?
Honestly, yeah. I mean, for sure. Definitely going to watch some videos, see what he's been doing lately. Me and Matthew has been going at it for since 2009. We're on the same USA team, so we go way back. So but at the end of the day, honestly, to be honest with you, it's about competing out there. I know he's going to go out there and compete and do his best, and we're going to be as well prepared as we can. But at the end of the day, is just go out there and compete and leave it on the field. We know he's had obviously great career, great season, and we're just going to go out there and try to do our best.
Tony?
Manny, given how many close ball games you guys have played during the course of the year and having to sometimes go to the small game, and given how these playoff games often go, does that give you guys a sense of confidence, comfort in those type of ball games?
Yeah, I mean, it's watching how games, have changed, from small ball to big ball to homers to slug to OPS, now the big numbers, OPS. I mean, ultimately, I think about winning a championship or, winning baseball games, ultimately it's about, scoring one more run than the other team. So however that is, it could be on a walk, it could be on a home run. Yeah, home runs are huge. But I think the biggest thing, it's about scoring one more run than the other team. So however you can do that, whether it's a hit by pitch, moving a guy over, being an unselfish at bat and getting a guy over with less than 2 outs for the next guy, I think, that all comes into play. So the biggest thing is just about, trying to produce as many runs as we can and, put ourselves in that situation.
Jay in the second round.
Manny, is there anything you could point to in terms of explaining the discrepancy between your guys' record at home this year and your road record?
Honestly, a couple of these guys in here have asked me, can you please go find out the answer for me? Because I can't answer that for you. You're going to have to go talk to someone else because I really don't even have that answer for you. I think that's more of a media or analytical question, not a baseball player. I think we just lost, so.
Is there any difference between home field advantage, do you feel like, in the regular season
For sure.
compared to the playoffs?
For
You know
sure.
what I mean? Like when you're
Home field is always. I mean, playing at home is always helps out for whoever it is playing at home. I mean, I think that's a real thing. Playing in front of your home crowd is, nothing better. They give you the energy. Obviously, you have your home clubhouse, you have your home facilities, you're sleeping in your home bed. I mean, it's just a lot of factors that play into it. So yeah, home field for sure it is, but that's why you play both ways. But it'd be fun to come play here on the road, and I know these fans are great here as well.
Megan on the left side in the back.
It's been since April since these two teams have played each other. The Cubs pitching staff, specifically the bullpen, looks a lot different from when you guys faced them then. How much can you rely on your experience of seeing some of those guys so many months ago versus the preparation you're putting in now?
Yeah, I mean, it's a long season. A lot of things has happened. So yeah, definitely. I can't remember the last time we faced them. So things have changed. Both teams have changed completely, both ways, and it's getting back to the drawing map. And I think ultimately it's about competing. We got to go out there and play hard, play two good teams playing. Playing our best baseball we could possibly play, and leaving it on the field. We could be as much as prepared as you want, but I know as a competitor, once you step onto that field, everything's game. Things could change instantly. So as much as you can prepare, you just got to be mentally ready to go out there and just compete.
Sam in the back.
Manny, Nick Pavetta on the mound for your team in Game 1. He signs in spring training, goes on to have the best year of his career. What has stood out to you about what Pavetta has brought to this group?
He's been awesome, man. I mean, it's just the type of guy he is. The energy he brings every single time he steps on that mound, it's great. We feed off of it as a team, and ultimately what he's done for us this year has been huge. So we have the right guy on the mound to go out there and play behind, and go out there and try to secure and put ourselves in the best spot for Game 1.
We're going to take two more. Pedro down here in the front, and then we'll finish up in the middle.
Manny, el equipo con los Padres toca jugar tu cuarta postemporada con el equipo de San Diego. Háblanos de la etapa ganadora que han podido construir con el equipo de San Diego.
Sí, no se siente bien. Tú sabes que al final del día yo como jugador y pelotero, eso es lo que yo quiero. Yo quiero ganar una serie mundial, quiero llegar a una serie mundial a la ciudad de San Diego, pero al final del día es ganar y llegar a este momento. No es fácil. Cada momento que tú llegas aquí tienes que, ¿sabes?, cogerlo con el corazón y vivirlo, porque es un honor estar aquí como pelotero y al final del día esto es lo que nosotros jugamos.
Aparte de talento y ejecución, ¿qué consideras como factores claves para poder avanzar de esta ronda inicial?
Sí, no, jugar el juego de nosotros, enfocarnos en lo de nosotros, no enfocarnos en el ruido de afuera y jugar el juego de nosotros. Yo creo que tenemos juegos diferentes que podemos jugar y el juego que vamos a jugar ese día tenemos que jugarlo al 100% y dejarlo ahí en el terreno.
¿Qué de los escenarios grandes que sacan lo mejor de ti para brillar en este béisbol?
Divertirme. Yo creo que con una sonrisa yo creo que es lo mejor y nosotros al final del día estamos jugando un juego que desde niño quería jugar. Divertirme al 100%.
We'll finish up right in the middle.
Afternoon, Manny. How would you characterize your time in San Diego in the context of postseason? Maybe you can speak a little bit to the core group here, but has it been just wonderful to be on good teams and get opportunities in October? Or has it been excruciating, to get there and actually close? How important is this particular year, this time right now for you?
Yeah, I mean it's obviously when I signed here, we had a vision, and ultimately every team's goal is to win a championship. Obviously we've never had one in the city of San Diego, so that kind of stands up there alone for us as a group. But Peter and Ron and AJ have really committed to trying to bring that. We have a great core group of guys who've been together for 5-6 years now. We continue to add players to fit in well with the clubhouse, do their part. getting to the postseason, back-to-back seasons. It's not easy to do, but it's very fun to grind through a long season and enjoy the ups and downs. But yeah, man, it's baseball's not easy. I always say it every single year. It's 162 games. It's a grind. It's not easy at all. So anytime you could enjoy a celebration to get into a postseason, you got to enjoy it to the fullest. You never know if it's going to be your last but you got to enjoy it to the fullest. And ultimately, we have a goal. We have a core group of guys who are going to be here for a very long time, and we're going to continue to try to, reach our goal, which is to bring a championship to the city of San Diego. So, we have a group of guys that can do it, and now we just got to go out there and do it.
All right, thanks, Manny. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Manny Machado, part of our press conference coverage. When we come back, we'll hear from Mike Shildt as he's live at Wrigley Field. He's Frank Marchese at Braden Surprenant. We're in a lunchtime hour on the Braden Surprenant Show. When we come back, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97 through the Fan. Here's Mike Shildt speaking with the media.
Some variation of this question for a while, but can you point to anything in particular when you look at the discrepancy in the way your team has played on the road versus, the home record you guys have?
I don't think it's probably a lot of different things, but in general terms, we have a great home environment that we play in, so we enjoy playing at home. I don't really read too much into the road. It's not. The fact that we've been so good at home creates more differential for the road record. It's like the road record's atrocious. So we've been more than competitive on the road last year, this year. So it's really more about, how well we played at home, but we've clearly also been able to take care of business on the road as well.
Go to Bruce on the left.
Hey, Mike. Because you've known that you're going to play the Cubs for a while, what type of advantages does it give you and the Cubs as well to prepare over this last week or 10 days?
Yeah, we've had our feet in two different places, right? Finishing the season, which we did strongly. I was really pleased how we competed at the end of the season. Really pleased how we competed all year, quite frankly. But we were able to keep our focus and attention on taking care of business at the end of the season, but also internally, more for the staff. When the players, just go play. Now it's time to go prepare, but more from a front office, scouting, field staff. We've been able to spend some, real time over the last 5 days or so to look at it. It's a team we're very familiar with, team I'm got some history with, familiar with, and seen a lot of these guys over the last several years. So we've taken advantage of the time knowing who we're going to play.
Go to Kevin and then AJ.
Mike, how is Elias, and what will be the process of determining his fitness?
Yeah, Ace we're in the process of figuring that out. He felt good today, did some pool work today, and moved around a little bit. I'll have a better answer for you here next couple hours. They're going to put him through some light paces. It's a double-edged sword, right? You want to find out, you want to rest him, but can he go? How much you test him? So we have a great medical staff that's going to figure that out, and we'll have a little bit more clarity later today, and may not have absolute clarity till tomorrow.
With the uncertainty, then, would you, if he were to be on the roster, would you carry 3 catchers in that scenario?
Something again that once we get the intel from Elias today and have our discussion with AJ, we'll land on the roster here later tonight or potentially in the morning. Like I said, I think they've got to be announced formally at 10, and so it's still up for discussion internally.
Having a guy like Mason in your bullpen who is not your closer, who you can kind of deploy where you need him in the late innings without giving away too much. Like, how do you expect to use him this postseason, and what kind of weapon is that?
Yeah, I think that goes for about all of our bullpen guys. Maury Hone has been used more in a place in multiple places. We're going to trust our starters and see what that looks like. Obviously, we got Nicky going tomorrow, and we trust Nicky completely. And but specific to the bullpen and roles and usage, we've got Morihone, we've got Estrada, and to your point, Miller, who can be deployed. And in some cases, it can be a one-inning situation, but these guys are rested and have done multiple innings, and we'll use them appropriately for whatever role it calls for. But multiple innings will be on the table for all of them.
Jesse.
Mike, one of the great cliches this time of year is that everything resets. What happened in the regular season doesn't matter in the postseason. I guess from your experience as a manager in this game, where do you land on that, and how much what happened in the regular season matters now?
You create an identity with your club for what took place to get you here. So what took place in the regular season is real, and we're going to rely on those experiences. To AJ's question about the bullpen, our bullpen's been used in multiple different ways, so there's not going to be a scenario really where it's going to be they haven't seen it before. We've done a lot of different things to compete that sometimes teams can wait to do in the postseason, as far as bunting or moving runners or just different style of play. Well, we've normalized that during the regular season, and we're going to draw upon it. And then the last thing is, it's a battle-tested club. This hasn't been a straight line, and I think that's going to be the case for any playoff team, right? No one's had an easy road to get to the playoffs, so we're not unique in that. But specific to the Padres, we've had our challenges. We've had our challenges with, our starting pitching. We've clearly, our bullpen's been a strength. We've had our challenges with injuries. We've had a lot of different lineups. We've had a lot of different ways to compete, and we've been able to hold it together and win games and get here. So that battle-tested individual collectiveness that we have is going to serve us well.
Let's go to Jesse in the fourth row.
Mike, Wrigley's played pretty volatile this year defensively, sun, wind. Was it by coincidence you're working out about the same time as the first pitch tomorrow, or did you really want it at this time?
Yeah, I think it was open, so we took it. Yeah, and to your point, we know it's who I'm sure there's a metric or somebody's got an absolute to it, but there's not many more not another ballpark that I would say that can be any trickier than Wrigley, and we're aware of it. We spent some time. We created our workout time around it. It's really just about continued awareness of the environment and making sure we're communicating consistently as the game goes, and know that in the second it could be different than the fourth, it could be different than the seventh, and the time of game we're going to see shadows, and we're going to see sun balls, and so we're aware of all that, and just a matter of being present in what the game's presenting us, including the elements.
Let's go third row in the middle.
Hi, Mike. Your counterpart Counsell came here with a big reputation, big contract, kind of a good bit of pressure to deliver. What's your view of him in the pantheon of managers right now?
Oh man, that's I don't know, it's a hard question, man. I'll just leave it at this. I've gone and had the privilege to manage against Craig for a number of years now, going back to his Milwaukee days, clearly now in Chicago. And every team, we were in the same division. Our teams went to the wire every year, back and forth. And there's no surprise he's come over here, and Chicago's going back to the playoffs under his guidance. So he's a very good manager. He's a really sharp guy, and we know we've had some good series over the years, and he does a nice job.
We'll finish up with Kevin right in the front.
Which starter will you trust in Game 2?
Dylan Cease is going to start Game 2.
And the decision behind that?
Multiple decisions, multiple things. One of Dylan's been good, throwing the ball more consistently lately. He kind of it gives, if indeed there's a Game 3, and Darvish is in play, it gives him an extra day of rest. Dylan's rested. He's throwing the ball well here. He's throwing the ball well against his club, and he's Dylan Cease. He's got a big arm, and he's the guy that we feel is best suited for Game 2.
And that would mean Michael will be available in the bullpen?
That'd be accurate.
What is that, given the experience that he has in that role in the past, what can that do to help you guys?
It's another weapon. it's another weapon that's there. Again, we've got bullpen guys that clearly have gotten us here that we trust, and Michael will be used appropriately relative to the guys that have the experience and have done well in that role. And the spot will present itself potentially this series for Michael to show up.
Thanks, Mike. We'll see you pregame tomorrow.
All right, thank you.
So that is it for our postseason press conference coverage for today. It's presented by Trust and Will. Don't wait for extra innings. Protect your family's estate today with Trust and Will. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. If you haven't done so already, follow us on social media at @B_SURP, at @BSURP. You can follow us on all social media platforms. You can follow the show at @B_SURP show. I'm on X, Instagram, TikTok, whatever it may be. You can also subscribe to our YouTube page at @B_SURP. It is in the link below. If you're watching on YouTube, there are 300 of you. We really appreciate you guys tuning in as we get you covered for playoff baseball in America's finest city. All of you watching on YouTube, in the description below is how you can subscribe to us so you can find us for all coverage of the playoffs throughout the postseason run for the San Diego Padres. That first link is for my YouTube page. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. We're just over 500. Really appreciate you if you guys could do that. If you haven't done so already, give us a like on the YouTube. It helps push out this content to other Padres fans that don't know that we're out here on YouTube. So we really appreciate that. Mike Shildt said exactly what we were talking about in the first hour about Game 2. We're going to discuss the pitching plan now after we know that Dylan Cease is now pitching Game 2 for the Padres. Came out of Mike Shildt's mouth. Nick Pavetta today, Mike Shildt tomorrow. Nick Pavetta Game 1, Dylan Cease Game 2. We'll discuss the plan of the pitching staff when we come back. Want to get to your phone calls, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We continue with postseason coverage of the San Diego Padres when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Troy Bennett Woods, the Braden Surprenant Show. Me and Frank. Frank's going to be there. And Gwen and Chris for a postseason watch party at Park 101 in Carlsbad on Wednesday to watch Game 2 between San Diego and Chicago. Park 101 is a bi-level sports bar with a rooftop deck and huge screens. There will be North County's best barbecue, craft cocktails, and we'll give away autographed baseballs. It's all presented by Estrella Jalisco Light Mexican Lager. Join us Wednesday at Park 101, located at 3040 Carlsbad Boulevard in the Carlsbad Village. What's cool about that, we're not doing live shows, but we will all be there. It's very rare when we get to all be there at the exact same time. So I will be there. Frank will be there. Ben and Woods and Paul will all be there. Chris Ello and Matt Scraby will be there for the afternoon show. Obviously, Tony is going to be calling a game in Chicago. Otherwise, he would be there. We're all going to be there. Why aren't you? You should. Come join us. Watch the Padre game with us. Go out and get lunch. I feel like a lot of people's lunch breaks might be extra long this week, Frank, if they do show up to work. If not, a lot of them are going to be sick.
I know where they're going to be going as well.
True. This noon lunch hour is brought to you by the Craft Taco. Both flavors, the 2 locations, Sorrento Valley and inside Balboa Park's Natural History Museum.
I'm waiting for the tacos. Where are the damn tacos at?
Where are the tacos at? Where are the tacos at? Maybe we can make good on all of it. Get some tacos on the way up. We have an hour to get there. We're going to be doing our show here and then driving up to Carlsbad. And then I got to drive to practice.
I need money. Don't put those ideas out into the ether.
No, why would you do that?
Don't put those ideas out in the ether. Say you were kidding. say you were kidding.
Where the damn tacos at? That's my new favorite drop. I got to hear it again.
I'm waiting for the tacos. Where are the damn tacos at?
It is the lunchtime hour. Where are my damn tacos? That's all I got to say. All I got to say. All right. Speaking of game 2. So, the people are upset about Dylan Cease starting game 2. Some of them are. Some people missed our first hour. Did we not tease this already, Frank?
Yeah,
we knew this was going to happen.
Kind of talked about it.
Reading the tea leaves over the weekend from Mike Shildt of what's going to happen sounds like, and this is what happened as he just said in the press conference. Dylan Cease is starting game 2, Padres fans. It has been announced. He is starting game 2. Expect it on October. You know what? It's already on MLB.com. That was fast. He is starting game 2, whether you like it or not. This is your guy. You have to back your guy. This is the guy. He's rolling game 2. Game 1 is Nick Pavetta. Cubs still haven't announced anybody yet. Guardians have finally announced their starting pitcher. Gavin Williams will go against Tarek Skubal. Garrett Crochet of the Red Sox is going to Max Fried of the Yankees. Hunter Green of the Reds is going against TBD of the Dodgers. Cubs have not announced the starter yet. Our guess would be Boyd. Could be Imanaga. One of those two. They are not starting Michael King this week. Michael King is going to be coming out of the bullpen. I think a lot of that has to be part of the discussion of they don't believe that Michael King is built up enough to be a starter at this point in time. So, from that perspective, if you don't think he's going to be able to give you like 100 pitches in a game, if you don't think he's going to be able to get you a start as a starting pitcher, and he's only going to be able to get you bullpen level innings, why not just move him to the bullpen? Because that was the other thing too, is he started on Saturday. They pitched him, how many pitches did they say it was? Like 49?
Yeah, 49. Bless you. It was 49 for King on Saturday.
49 pitches for Michael King on Saturday. Somebody already asked in the YouTube chat, well, isn't he on short rest? He give him 4 days rest, but he's in the bullpen now. You're not asking him to give you 100 pitches. You're not asking him to get you 7 innings. You are asking Michael King to come into relief of potentially Dylan Cease and get you 3 innings. This is how it's playing out. Now, there are some other ways that you could go about this, but and it's interesting the different strategies you can employ when you got pitching, at least in the bullpen. But we're only going to talk since that's kind of out the window now with knowing who the Game 2 starter is. Think about it from the perspective of Dylan Cease now starting Game 2. I think a lot of people get upset with the fact that Dylan Cease, right, they're thinking about his last playoff start, which was on 3 days rest against the Dodgers. Dylan Cease isn't going on 3 days rest against the Dodgers. Dylan Cease is going on full rest. And he's going to start Game 2. And here's the other thing that you don't need when you have the bullpen the Padres have. And the bullpen they have now is better than the bullpen they had last year, where you kind of needed to rely on some of your starting pitching. With Dylan Cease starting Game 2 and Michael King being available out of the bullpen, it lays out where you just need Dylan Cease to go through the order one time. And the last time he did that against Chicago was this season. He went through it allowing one hit. So you let him go through the order once. That, you know what that does? When you only allow one hit, that gets you about 3 innings. If Dylan Cease can get you 3 innings, then you go to Michael King. Michael King, it was said by Mike Shildt yesterday, not really today, that they think they could get 75 pitches out of Michael King. He will be on 4 days rest. Again, we're talking about Game 2. So he has Sunday off, Monday off, Tuesday off, and then it's the day. This is the fourth. He gets the pitch on the 4th day, and he only pitched 40 pitches. He's gotten more than enough time as a bullpen arm. It's not like you have to worry about him on short rest because he's going to be a starter. He's going to be in the bullpen. So, Michael King expected to go. He could go at least 75 pitches. That's plenty. If he goes through the order one time, that gets you another 3 innings. So now you're 6 innings into the game, and you get Dylan Cease going through the order once and Michael King going through the order once. And then you get to your 3 heavy hitters in the back with Adrian Morejon and Mason Miller and Robert Suarez. And depending where the order is coming up, I think is where you go with those players. If it's the top of the order, especially with the amount of lefties that the Cubs have, you throw Morejon. I don't like that. I mean, I don't dislike that. I think you got a pretty good plan in place for what you currently have on the roster. That is enough to get you a victory if the bats swing it and get runs. And you're going against a couple of lefties that the Cubs have that have been not necessarily at their best in the last couple of weeks. Frank just saw him play against the Mets. How did Imanaga do against the Mets?
Not good.
Not great. You can get after these guys. And again, it comes with pressure. It's different in the postseason. Padres have been there before. They were there last year. I don't mind the plan. I think it's a good plan. I think that's probably their best option. I mean, the fool's gold of what a lot of fans think will be Randy Vasquez to save the day. I'm sorry. It's probably not going to end well, especially for a guy that hasn't been there and done it before. He's going to have to be used at some point out of the bullpen. I would imagine he's probably coming into Game 3 behind Yu Darvish. They haven't announced Yu Darvish yet, but they have announced Nick Pavetta for Game 1 tomorrow, and they've announced Dylan Cease for Game 2. Michael King's coming out of the bullpen. That was also addressed. I don't mind that philosophy. I don't mind that strategy. Dylan Cease, for as bad as he has been this year, has been good his first time through the order. He can get through the order one time. It gets you 3 innings. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. I know his name is Adrian, but they call him Adrian. Clayton. That's what the TV broadcasters say. So is it Adrian? Is it Adrian? I don't know. If you want to talk about it in a Spanish way, it would be so it would be Adrian Morejon. I'm just calling him what he wants to be called. We're going to take a quick break. Let me know what you think about the strategy. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego Padres Sports Station 97.3, The Fan. $12:37 on a Monday. We got a lot of people afraid about game 2. I'm telling you that. I mean, here's the deal. This is what you have to accept it now. Mike Shildt announced that Dylan Cease is starting on Wednesday. He's starting. There's nothing you can do about it. He's playing. So if you don't want to watch, or like you're afraid to look at it, or if you're just going to be, I'm just telling you, ain't nothing you're going to do about it. He has to pitch. You have to understand, he has to pitch. And here's how the pitching works. You're never going to get to be able to handpick all of your pitchers where it's like, well, it's an elimination game. We can't use him. Well, if the Padres get to an elimination game later in series and he's the next guy up, are you just not going to use him at all? You have to use him. You have to use Dylan Cease. And that's how they're going to use him. And guess what they're not going to do? They're not bringing him out of the bullpen. I'm sorry. They're not. They're not going to do that. He's obviously a guy that can't do that. You're going to have to use Dylan Cease as a starting pitcher in the postseason to make it to the place that you want to be. So you can close your eyes for those innings if you want. He has to pitch. And the best way you can protect him right now is having Michael King ready to go right after. That is literally the best case scenario you have. Wait, you mean the fans can't change what the manager does? No, sorry, Cole. He's going. Dylan Cease is going game 2. And what the Padres are doing is they put Michael King in the bullpen, which I like. And he's going to be able to help clean things up. And he's probably not going to pitch in game 1 after Nick Pavetta. That's some dude just being a you-know-what in the chat going like, well, what happens if Nick Pavetta doesn't do well in game 1? Well, then, you know what? Your plans change. Their ideal plan, right? You're seeing it. Plan A, which never happens. And I'm sure they got contingency plans. But plan A is Nick Pavetta game 1, and we're hoping he goes pretty far. And then we get to the bullpen, and we win game 1. And then in game 2, Dylan Cease goes through one time through the order, and we get to Michael King, and then we bridge the gap to the bullpen, and we win game 2, and we're on our way to Milwaukee. That's plan A. It's never going to be just plan A now, is it? Things happen. Guys get lit up at certain points. We're all just assuming that the Cubs are going to shove against the offense, too, by the way. There's no guarantee in that. But yeah, if Dylan Cease is dealing in his first 3 innings, let him start the 4th. He's got a no-hitter through the first time through. Let him start the 4th. But I tell you what, Michael King better start warming up in that bullpen. Better start warming up in that bullpen. Again, you have to use Dylan Cease if you want to win a World Series. He has to pitch. Guess how many times Randy Vasquez has pitched in a postseason game? I'll even make it simpler for you. Raise your hand if you have as many outings as Randy Vasquez in an MLB playoff game. Oh. Yeah. Zero. They have to be able to use these guys to the best of their abilities and not throw them to the fire or set them up for failure. Randy Vasquez is going to be used at some point during the series. He's probably going to come out of the bullpen. To throw him into a elimination game on game 2, because a lot of people are like in the chat going like, I'd rather see Randy Vasquez start that game. You would rather have Randy Vasquez start a playoff game that's an elimination game, potentially, who has zero playoff experience. You're going to throw him to the Wolves like that? Come on. You're just saying that because you don't like Dylan Cease. He hasn't done well this year. I'll agree with you on that. But he does have some wipeout stuff. He can make it through one time through the order. Would you rather be feeling nervous these 2 days or just be focused on football? I mean, the choice is yours. Guys would be killing for this 10 years ago. Now it's like, we can't pitch Dylan Cease. Come on. Come on. Dylan Cease into Michael King. I like the idea. I think that's with what you have, that is the best foot forward that you can have. I think that's the best plan. Frank, do you want to tell me a better plan than that? With what you currently have? I mean, I'd love to resurrect Kevin Brown from 1998 and have him pitch game 2. That'd be great.
Here's the plan. Here's the plan that any Padre fan needs to be concerned with, and it's the same overall plan. You're going into minutia. The Padres' plan right now is that's A1, A2, A3. Plan A for the Padres is to win the bleeping thing. That's all they're trying to do. That's the plan. The plan is to win the bleeping thing.
The big cake.
You got to use all of your guys. They are all going to be ready for this moment. They play all season to make sure that they are ready for this moment. And yes, Cease has been a nightmare all season long. There is a couple things he has done, though. There are a couple of days where he has pitched very, very well, and you've seen the Dylan Cease that you need to see to win a playoff game. That is what the Padres are banking on getting. They're banking on that one day. A squirrel finds a nut every now and again. They are hoping that Cease finds that nut on Wednesday.
And you know for a fact now in postseason play, anybody that runs into trouble as a pitcher is getting pulled immediately. Everybody's on a short leash.
Yes.
Everybody's on a short leash, especially with the bullpen they have.
You're not going to see him give up 5 runs over 6 innings and 120 pitches because they're not going to let it get that far. If he has trouble in the 4th inning, if he walks back-to-back guys in the 4th inning in a tie game, he's out. He's done. The next guy's in. They're not going to let
They
it
ain't
get
messing
that
around.
far.
They ain't bleeping around with this thing. I'd tell you that right now. They're getting after it. I mean, so I don't mind it in starting Dylan Cease. I like the backup plan with King right behind. And again, you can't compare like this year's play. You can't compare them to what they did in the postseason last year. I think it's going to be the exact same. Everybody's freaking out about what Dylan Cease did against the Dodgers on 3 days rest. After he didn't look good against that same team earlier in the series, a team that sees him all the time in a division matchup. Cubs don't see Dylan Cease all the time. Dylan Cease has made 3 starts at Wrigley Field. He's done very well against them. He made 1 start against the Cubs this season. Padres won that game here in San Diego. He went through the first 3 innings unscathed. 4th inning, not very good. Had some errors behind him. He ended up giving up 3 runs, only 2 of them earned in that particular game. That was the only time he faced this year's Cubs. But he has had success against the Cubs in his career. It's a team that drafted him before they shipped him off to Chicago on the south side.
Clay in the South Bay just called me a fat squirrel.
Oh, no. Rude. That's a foul.
I just got called a fat squirrel.
He draws the foul.
I just think there's like some biases towards Dylan Cease where it's like it's unrealistic bad expectations.
Well, it's not unrealistic. It's the eye test. It's you've seen him pitch like dog all year. And yes, I understand being afraid of it, but you have to there are guys that you have to go to. Dylan Cease is one of those guys. You're going to have to go to him, and he's not being relied on the way he was last year to get you game 1 and game 4. You're asking him to get the middle game of the series, and you probably won't see him again until the divisional series game 3, possibly game 4, where he'll be here, he'll be at home, where he's had better starts this year. He has put better starts together this year.
What
at
I like
home.
and what I like about that game 2 thing is you can save the bullpen for game 3 if you need to.
Yes.
You can use the bullpen more in game 1 if you need to.
The ideal scenario would be Cease gets you 4. If he gets in trouble in the 4th inning, then out. Have King go to the 7th, or if he's pitching well, have him go through the 8th. Hell, if he's pitching amazingly, see if you can get him to the 9th. See if you can use just Cease and King in game 2. That is your best case scenario. So this way, if Pavetta does blow up tomorrow, you have a fresh, rested bullpen for game 3.
We act like he sucked last year in a Padres uniform.
He didn't. He was great. He sucked in the 2 games that mattered.
Sucked
And that's
in the
what
2
everyone
games, and
remembered.
that's everything that anybody has ever remembered. But that's the territory of sports. Last season, he had a 4.1 WAR. That's the second highest WAR he has ever had in his career. He was 14-11 at a 3.47 ERA. That ERA, by the way, was the second best ERA he has had in his career in a single season.
Major league leader in strikeouts per 9 innings this year.
Still, that's better than who, Frank?
Everyone.
It's better than Paul Skeens. I mean, you have that kind of strikeout. That's this season. He's got the wipeout stuff. He's got the strikeout stuff. All of a sudden, you got batters up to bat with the pressure on, chasing pitches, swinging out of their shoes. I'm telling you, he's going to be slightly better. Now, here's the deal. They're not going to let him run and get and put themselves in a massive hole. But you have to pitch this guy. You have to pitch him.
And again, they're not going to reiterate, they are not going to allow himself. They're not going to allow him to work himself out of trouble. If they spot trouble, he is out. Done. They are not going to give him the opportunity to strike out 5 and walk 6. That's not going to be a thing they're going to let him do. They're not going to give him the leash to do that. First sight of trouble, he's out. That's playoff baseball. If it's the 3rd inning, it's the 3rd inning. If it's the 4th, then it's the 4th. I understand being worried about him. He's failed the eye test all season long. But you also have to remember they are not going to let him get that far out of line. They're going to pull him at the first sight of trouble.
2 teams that don't hit a lot of home runs in a ballpark where the wind likes to blow in. Would be nice. We'll get the wind update tomorrow from Dave.
We also got the on Bennett Woods tomorrow. We've also got the AccuJesse 3000 call.
Love it. Baseball coverage on 97 through the Van is presented by T-Mobile. Head to T-Mobile.com. Get a great deal on iPhone 16 Pro. Make sure to join Ben and Woods, speaking of, us, the Braden Surprenant Show, and Gwen and Chris for a postseason watch party at Park 101 in Carlsbad on Wednesday to watch Game 2 between San Diego and Chicago. Park 101 is a bi-level sports bar with a rooftop deck, huge screens. It will be North County's best barbecue craft cocktails, and we'll give away autographed baseballs. It's all presented by Estrella Jalisco Light Mexican Lager. Join us Wednesday at Park 101, located at 3040 Carlsbad Boulevard in the Carlsbad Village. Show today is brought to you by your local Kia dealers. Visit kia.com to discover a moment that inspires. I want to get to your phone calls. Again, a lot of people worry. I'm not worried about Dylan Cease. You want to know why? Because he ain't Sean Manaea and he ain't Mike Clevenger. That's still an upgrade from the 2 that you had to roll with in LA, in the Dodgers series, in Philly against the Phillies in 2022. Still. I don't mind. I think they have protected Dylan Cease with Michael King potentially coming in behind him. They haven't announced that they're going to do that, but they said that Michael King's coming out of the bullpen at some point in this series, and they're saying that Dylan Cease is starting game 2. That's what Mike Shildt said today. Let's get out to Chicago. Gerardo in Chicago calling into the show. What's going on? How's the weather over there?
It's good. You know, I thought it was going to be a lot colder. I thought it was going to be more like fall weather. I was here in April for their opening day game against the Padres, and that was a lot cooler weather, but it's nice, sunny, clear blue skies. So I'm excited to be out here. Definitely nervous. I like the plan, right? I like plan A. I'm hoping, you know, Pavetta does really well. And then, as you mentioned, you have to use Dylan Cease to win, right? We have to use them to go far and make it hopefully to the World Series. But I mean, just being out here nervous, as soon as I knew that they were going to be out here in Chicago, I looked at flight tickets, found a one-way, that's the key, right? A one-way ticket to Chicago, and we're going to be hopeful, and hopefully, you know, within a few days, we're taking a train ride up north, but we're going to focus on game 1 and excited to be out here to support the Friars.
That's fun, dude. I love that. I love the sports trips. If I wasn't having to go to San Francisco this weekend for Don's football, I would have loved to go watch the Padres play the Cubs. Who's with you on the trip?
I came by myself. I have
Nice.
I have a few buddies out here that live in Chicago. One of them's a diehard Cubs fan. He's a season ticket holder, and fortunately, but not fortunately, his father-in-law got a little sick, so he won't be able to make it to the game. And he just let me know this morning that he has a extra ticket for me for tomorrow's game, and then going to try to find a cheap ticket for Wednesday.
Where are you sitting tomorrow?
Tomorrow we're in, I don't know what the section is, but I believe it's first base side, and it's like in the third deck. And then Wednesday, I think I'm going to try to make it out to the bleachers.
Oh my God. That is a task out there being by yourself. Hopefully you're repping you're repping the brown and gold out there, Gerardo, and hopefully you're making the trip up to Milwaukee this weekend.
I hope so too. And then a quick shout out just to the Section 117 family out in San Diego. We've been members there. It's our 5th year as a Padres season ticket member. And then quick shout out to my Familia Valtierra and Familia Jacuinde. Love you guys so much, and hopefully we keep it rolling.
All right, Gerardo, I'm going to need a phone call tomorrow. And then after the first game, I'm going to need a phone call on Wednesday in our 1 hour that we're on. I need the live report of what's going on out there and what the Padres, how many Padres fans you see and all that. Need the full report.
You got it.
All right.
Give me a call.
Gerardo calling from Chicago, San Diegan out there repping the boys. I love it. Anybody else that's listening that's out in Chicago, give us a call. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We don't have too much time, but no, we have like 45 seconds before we go to break. Dexter, Kevin, and Martin, we're going to get to when we start the 1 o'clock hour. I will mention this. We're not playing the game today. We're not playing the game probably all this week. We only have hour shows from here on out, depending on what happens in the series. And then Friday, we have a full show, but I will be in San Fran with the Dons on the road. No baseball on Friday anyway. But if you take me down to sports trivia, you are qualified for a chance to win a grand prize, a trip to see the Eagles at Sphere Las Vegas, including 2 tickets to the show on January 30th, a 2-night stay at the Venetian Resort Las Vegas, a Vibe VIP package, and a $100 gas card. The Eagles have added 2026 shows to the band's residency at Sphere in Las Vegas on Friday, January 23rd, Saturday, January 24th, Friday, January 30th, and Saturday, January 31st. The residency now features a total of 48 shows from Friday, September 20th through Saturday, January 31st, 2026. Tickets at Ticketmaster.com. I did that without it being sped up on a recording. How was that, Frank? That was not bad. Some of us can talk fast. We'll talk more with you guys when we come back in the 1 o'clock hour. Dexter, Kevin, Martin will lead us off to start the 1 o'clock hour of the Braden Surprenant Show. It's funny to me. He's pitching game 2. There's nothing you could do about it. Dylan Cease is pitching game 2. And honestly, the more I think about it, the more of a logical choice it is for him to start game 2. People don't want to see Dylan Cease start game 2 because they don't want him to start an elimination game. Well, that means he's not playing at all in this series. You need him to pitch this series. Frank, do you have more trust in Randy Vasquez in a playoff game, a guy that's never done it before, or
No.
Dylan Cease to make it to the order one time?
Dylan Cease.
Dylan Cease. Dylan Cease. I'm not saying the guy's like a world beater here. I'm not saying he's an ace. I'm not saying he is a great option, but he currently is your best option. And if you don't pitch him in game 2, you're going to have to pitch him in game 3, which is also an elimination game. The only non-elimination game is game 1, and Nick Pavetta is pitching that game. You need somebody to pitch game 2 or game 3. And it's either Cease or it's Darvish, because they've already said that Michael King is coming out of the bullpen and Randy Vasquez is coming out of the bullpen. So guess who you're left with? Dylan Cease and Yu Darvish. So you get to pick. Which one are you going to use? I'm just telling you. That's what it is. I mean, the whole I have to eat crow if Dylan Cease doesn't do well in game 2 is absurd. This is the plan that they have. I say it's a pretty decent plan considering the situations that is at hand of Michael King being there to protect Dylan Cease if something goes wrong. That's the conversation. I don't remember Frank saying Dylan Cease has to start game 2. Do you remember this conversation?
No.
I said, I got it. I understand. I don't remember it. I don't remember saying that I was the advocate for him to start game 2. In fact, I was talking more about Michael King, but now realizing that Michael King isn't going to start any of the games in the wild card. Now who's starting? Those are your options. He has to pitch. If Randy Vasquez is going to be a bullpen arm for them, as they've announced, somebody has to pitch. So the reality is it's not Cease versus Vasquez of who starts game 2. It's Cease and Darvish and whoever your other starters are. You want JP Sears starting game 2, Frank? Over Dylan Cease?
Brother, I don't even want JP Sears starting on Sunday.
I don't want him in any of the games. I don't want him playing until after spring training with Ruben Niebla to get him right. You want Kyle Hart to start the game? Kyle Hart started one of the games at Wrigley last time.
Yeah, how'd that go?
Didn't go well.
That went great, didn't it?
Well, why don't you have Dylan Cease come out of the bullpen? Oh, I don't know. Maybe because he's never done it before, and he's the type of guy, as people have said in the chat, where it comes between the ears, that he probably isn't a guy that could come out of the bullpen. I don't get it. And that's the whole topic of discussion of sometimes I think fans would rather root for their team to fail so they are right rather than watch them win. I mean, the hate on the Dylan Cease conversation has been crazy. It's the same stuff we talked about with Xander Bogaerts, Frank. It was the same thing with Xander Bogaerts all year. All year. He looked good the rest of the year. He had a good season. Sometimes I just try to fight off, try to rearrange the thinking sometimes on this. Dylan Cease into Michael King, I think that's, out of all the circumstances, that is probably your best plan. Dylan Cease has pitched 18 innings against the Cubs since being a Padre and has only given up 2 runs and has struck out 25. For everybody that said he was only having success against the Cubs in a White Sox uniform. He's done well against the Cubs, okay? They believe in him. It's all that really matters. He's pitching game 2, whether we like it or not. What's the better choice? He is the best choice for game 2. Maybe game 3. But again, if the whole reasoning of he can't start game 2 because it might be an elimination game, then he couldn't start game 3 either. And they've already said that Vasquez is in the bullpen. And by the way, having Vasquez start an elimination game as his first ever playoff game, that seems worse of a decision. That seems worse. That seems like a worse decision. All right, then who starts game 3, Mike? Let's say you make it to game 3, right? So if the whole thing was we can't have C start game 2 because it might be an elimination game, so we're going to start you, that means game 3 is coming. So who is starting game 3? Just going to go with the bullpen? I guess you could do that. I mean, all of a sudden, Darvish has turned back into an ace form based on what people would rather not see because they just dislike Dylan Cease. And that's kind of the argument that I have here. Somebody has to pitch. Somebody has to pitch. And guess what? Michael King off of Dylan Cease is fine. If it was just going to be Dylan Cease, I'm just saying, like, all of a sudden it's a little bit different. I think a lot of people are just thinking about what happened last year in the postseason in a 3-game deal. That's it. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Let's get out to Kevin in Chula Vista. Kevin, you're on the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on?
Pretty exciting times, Braden, either way. To be in the playoffs, playoffs coming up this week. This is our version of March Madness for baseball fans. So regardless of what happens, you know what? It's all good at the end of the day. We made it again, and thanks to the fans and thanks to the club for doing a great thing. I mean, overall, always got to keep that going as a positive thing in the back of our mind. So listen, let's talk about this for a second. I don't have the numbers on Dylan Cease for his home runs this year, how many he's given up. I don't have the numbers for his walks. I don't know, Frank, what your threshold would be for pulling him. Is it 2 walks and then a 3-run homer? Is that, I mean, what's the threshold going to be? Because you don't want the Padres to go into a situation of having to play catch up. And that would apply to Nick Pavetta, Darvish, Mike King, whoever they put out there. This is what they can't do. They cannot put this team into early holes. We have seen all year long the end results of that. So my preference would be your most experienced Wrigley Field pitcher, Braden, is who on this team?
The what?
Your most experienced starting pitcher that's had the most experience at Wrigley Field is who?
That's Darvish.
Absolutely. He knows how to pitch there. He's pitched in all the various wind conditions. Every single day is a new experience. I don't care what Dylan Cease did at Petco. You can't compare Petco to Wrigley. So I start you in the second game and hope for the best. I'm hoping for the best with Dylan Cease. But we're going to use that bullpen quite a bit. But if you're saying you're willing to, pull these guys, what's the threshold going to be? Are we going to be 2 runs down, 3 runs down? What is it going to be? So you got to put that into your consideration as well. I don't want to go there. I hope we don't have to go there. But no, if I'm running this squad, Darvish has got to be your guy in 2. He has to. He's got the most experience. He's got the most pedigree. I don't know what Dylan Cease's record is at Wrigley Field. You can pull that one
impressive.
up too.
It's his second best ballpark he's pitched at in his career.
Well, then that's hopeful. That's
the
really
last
hopeful.
time, Kevin.
And
The last time, Kevin, that Dylan Cease was in a Padres uniform pitching at Wrigley was last year. Do you know what he did? He went 7 innings of shutout, 1-hit ball. Again, that was
There you
last
go.
year. But the guy was drafted by the Cubs, and he has shoved against the Cubs in his career and has done really well at Wrigley Field too. Now, I will agree, he hasn't pitched nearly as much as you has at Wrigley Field. But the question is, though, one of them's pitching game 2 and the other one's pitching game 3. It doesn't really matter how you cut it. They both have to pitch. And if you think that Darvish might be an elimination game, well, that's great. And he wins. And then you get to game 3. And now who's starting game 3? We can't start Dylan Cease, though, right? Because he's been awful this year. So who are we starting game 3? The postseason ERA is in flux because of the starting him on 3 days rest in the Dodgers series last year. He's had 4 starts in a postseason game. 4 starts. You know who else has been awful in the postseason? Ask the Dodgers what they think about Darvish in the postseason. I mean, you can pull up whatever stat you want, but the reality is you have to pitch this guy. He has to pitch. So he's either pitching game 2 or he's pitching game 3. I mean, what? I don't know why this is so confusing. Somebody asked me what the difference was between this and me talking about the Robert Suarez thing, and I don't think he should close. I still said he should be pitching in a different spot. He's still pitching. Nobody wants Dylan Cease to pitch. I wouldn't say nobody, but the people that are super upset about him being announced as the game 2 starter would rather see him just not pitch at all. You need somebody to pitch. He's pitching game 2 and you's pitching game 3. And guess what? You could probably flip-flop it if you lose game 1, but they have already announced that Dylan Cease is pitching game 2. There's really nothing anybody else can do about it. I like Michael King being right behind him, though. That to me saves it a little bit. You're not asking Dylan Cease to go 7 innings. You're not asking Dylan Cease to go 4 innings, 5 innings. You're asking him to make it through the first round of the order, see where he's at, and get Michael King ready to go. And if he makes it through the first time through the order and then walks somebody in the 4th inning, put Michael King in. And let's get after it. Everybody's nervous. It's playoff time. I get it. But this is the team that you have. This is the team you're rolling with. And this team has Dylan Cease pitching game 2. There's really not more to discuss. And to be honest with you, it probably is their best option in game 2. Because whatever you have in game 2, have to answer in game 3 with the other one. So it's either Cease game 2, Darvish game 3, or Darvish game 2 and Cease game 3. I think a lot of people want to see Darvish game 2 because they think they can win the 2 games and they don't have to worry about game 3, but you have to have contingency plans. You can win game 2 with Dylan Cease. You can do it. Dexter, Bob, Martin, we're going to get to you when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. Baseball Talk on 97 through the Fan is presented by Paramount Plus. Sylvester Stallone is back in the original hit series Tulsa King this season. Dwight faces his most dangerous adversaries yet, forcing him to fight for everything he's built and to protect his empire. Stream the new season of Tulsa King on Sunday, September 21st, exclusively on Paramount Plus. We have one more segment, correct?
After this, yes.
Uh-oh. I've started a riot in the chat.
Uh-oh, what'd you do?
I said the dab emoji's killing me.
Oh,
the dab emoji, LOL, and
now
everybody's
you've-
posted the dab emoji. It's so funny. It's like, bang, dab. Almost lost my headphones.
Why? Why?
Cam
why
Ward
are
was
you-
great.
Why are you doing? Why? Why do you do the things?
Someone's
that you
gonna
do?
clip that.
Why do you do the things that you do?
It'd be a great gift. And dab. Gotta do it quick though, Frank. Just
He draws the foul.
that's fair enough. I need some tacos.
You need you need Jesus is what you need.
Oh,
right now.
well, good thing I coach at a Catholic school.
There you go. See that?
833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. My C's prediction: 5 innings, 5 hits, 4 earned runs, 4 walks, 5 strikeouts.
They're not going to let
They
him go
ain't
that
letting
far.
him go 5 innings if he gives up 4 earned runs. I'm
Nope.
sorry to tell you.
He's going to get.
I
They're
bet you
going
he goes
to get him.
3 2/3.
They're going to get him through 3 innings, unless he blows up and gives up 3 runs in the first inning and has the bases loaded. Then he's out. He's going to go at least 3. Anything beyond that is a bonus.
Like, no, Diesel's doing it now. Juan's doing it.
It's because you brought it up.
It's great. I love the dab emoji.
If you don't bring it up, and no, I'm
Is
not
that on your
showing.
phone?
I'm not showing my legs again to distract from this.
Herman?
You just gotta deal with this now.
Is the dab emoji like a YouTube one, or is that
I have
actually
no idea.
on like
I
your
have
phone
no
now?
idea.
That's sweet.
Do I look like someone who has ever dabbed to you, or you thought about
Ready? We can do
using
it together.
the
Ready?
dab
1,
emoji?
2, bang. Come on, Frank.
That's another one for even thinking I would.
Do it, Frank.
No.
You can dab. It's YouTube. It's fun.
This is
Nate's having a great
you
time right
started
now.
it.
Look at Nikki P did the emoticons for the Cam Ward. There it is.
You started this.
Come on,
Not
man.
me.
You can dab one time for the fans.
No.
David Vu wants you to dab.
That's cool for him. David, I'm sorry.
I think the dab would be better than showing off your legs with a natural casing.
I'm not going to do that either. It's a YouTube emoji. And people are saying,
You know what? You did that today.
what did I do?
The one reset in the chat.
Oh, there it is. Yep, there you go. Gotcha. I'll take that.
You should have seen him off air. That's exactly what he did, Juan.
Yeah.
He bat flipped it. I haven't seen a bat flip like that since Jose Batista.
We got 2 bats in here, by the way.
Should have bat flipped when he had the opportunity. 833-288-0973. 833. What is Clay saying?
Clay, Frank, I do not dab. I believe you have not dabbed. Thank you very much. That makes up for you calling me a fat squirrel.
That's true. Even a fat squirrel dabs once a day. Isn't that the saying?
Something like that. I think.
Even a clock dabs once in a while. Look at they're just going after it. Nate's got the cowboy emoji and the dab.
It's what you do, man. You started it.
Yeah, that's great. I didn't know dabbing was still a thing. We've brought it back.
There were hot dog emojis the whole time through the whole natural casing
Natural
conversations.
casing. I could use a natural casing hot dog.
Okay,
Hey-o.
Juan Ruiz is asking the real questions here.
Has Uncle Martin dabbed? Well, you know what? Uncle Martin's on the line. Let's get out to Martin and Santee. Martin, what's going on?
Gentlemen, I don't dab.
All right, that's fair enough.
And Frank, just a quick question to bring all the fandom back to normal. Who's your team?
No.
Who's your team? It's the Mets.
Yeah, it is.
The Mets didn't make the playoffs, and they're still your team.
Yep.
Our Padres won 90 games for the second year in a row, are in the playoffs tomorrow. Got to trust Shildt. And you touched on it a little bit, Braden, and I appreciate it. Dylan Cease knows exactly what happened in last year's playoffs. He had Padres on his jersey then. He has Padres on his jersey now. He's been fully rested. But, you think about it last year. He stepped up on short rest to try and do his best to get the Padres to the next series. And what happened? He didn't do well, but the Padres bats fell silent. So, but this year, I think it's a perfect game plan. And your support of this early, your support for Bogarts all year has been phenomenal. And we just have to believe. We have to trust and believe. 90 wins 2 years in a row, first time ever. I've been going to Padre games since the early 70s. This is just cool. It's amazing. And I'm going to be out at Gallagher Square on Wednesday for the watch party. Never done that before and thought, what the hell? But anyway, Braden, continue the support. Frank, diligent, good fan, tough ending to your year. But wow, we have to believe. We have to go with it. 90 wins back to back. Mike Shildt has always won 90 games for us. He's taken us to the playoffs several years. This is what it's going to happen, and it's going to be. And you know what? They're going to play Monday and Tuesday, and they're going to take Wednesday off because they're going to have 1-2 in a row at Wrigley. So anyway, gentlemen, good, great show as always. I appreciate you taking my call, and enjoy the afternoon. And Braden, it's been a fun show. That's and Frank too. The Nuts, kind of a different take. That's kind of a little bit more East Coast, I think. But good stuff as always, guys. Thank you.
Thank you,
Absolutely.
Uncle Martin.
I need money. Braden chat out of context is wild. We need a Twitter account for that.
By the way,
oh, come on, Nate. Wow.
Just for context of how my sports weekend went.
Oh, no, we're going to do this again.
Olympian lost on Friday.
Lost a rivalry game, too, for their first loss
to
of the year.
a 1-4 Otay Ranch.
Yep.
Inter Milan won. Great. Got
Okay.
that one.
Nobody cares. Moving on.
I had it up here. Hold on.
Penn State lost.
Yep, Penn State lost.
I saw Derek and LaMesa was popping up a little bit in the chat.
Chelsea lost.
All right.
New York Red Bulls lost.
Rip.
San Diego FC lost.
Rip.
Mets did Met things that I was expecting them to do.
That was expected, though.
Yes.
Okay.
It still didn't make it feel any better. The Giants won, but in the process of the Giants,
New York Football Giants.
Yes, the New York Football Giants.
I mean, the Giants also won.
In the
They fired
process,
Bob Melvin today.
In the process of the New York Football Giants winning, Malik Neighbors is out for the year with a non-contact ACL tear, and John Mara got diagnosed with cancer today.
That's not great.
So, just a great sports weekend for me. The only team that won without letting me down in any way, shape, or form was Inter Milan. That was the only one.
Well,
even Buffalo lost to Troy.
At least Tennessee won for me at this point. It was a rough sports weekend. Padres did well. Padres did really well. So we have that at least.
That's a fantastic point. That is an incredible point.
You would be the worst.
Frank would be the worst squirrel due to his nut allergy. That is an unbelievably good point.
833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. Let's get out to Dexter in Spring Valley. Dexter, what's going on?
All right, gentlemen. I am going to call a technical foul on you for announcing that I was going to be in the next segment twice.
I know.
Not going to me.
I did.
And then on top of that, having me wait for an hour.
Sorry, Dexter.
So that's not a foul. It's a technical.
That's a tech.
But beyond that, I have a couple of points and a question. So the question, and hopefully they'll all be brief. The question is, do you know which unis they're wearing tomorrow? The brown and gold or the stripes?
My guess would be Pavetta's wearing the stripes. The only one that really likes the brown and gold is Darvish.
Okay.
Maybe that's
All
you know
right.
what? You know what? That's the best reason to say for him to pitch game 2 is the fact that he will wear the brown and gold.
And the next thing, the first point I'd like to make is, I don't know what's been going on with all this negativity with the the quote unquote fan base of the Padres, all this negativity, all this hate. It's like it went from Bogarts now to Cease. So what I have to say to that is cease and desist, because like you said, the plans are already been made. They've already announced it. We just have to suck it up and deal. Yeah, we don't trust Cease, but at the same time, like you said, that's the way they're going to go. They have backup plans, hopefully, and we just go with that. The second point I'd like to make is very simple. All this negativity reminds me of, and I had to do a pop culture reference, reminds me of an old cartoon from the 90s, which I think you guys would be familiar with, Ren and Stimpy.
Yes. I actually do remember that
Okay,
cartoon.
everybody is being like the angry, nervous, twitchy Chihuahua Ren. Okay, and it's like, and his thing is he lives to complain, he lives to hate, he thrives on negativity. When when on the rare occasions that he was quote unquote happy and smiling, he looked real creepy. But I mean, there's that one character, and I know you guys know who Ren and Stimpy are because it's from your generation too. But you know what I mean? It's like, I don't understand this, I mean, yeah, I don't trust Cease, but like you said, they're going to go with it, so let's just deal. And then on top of that, Darvish being the number 3 pitcher, let's go into this with a reasonably positive attitude. They're going to sweep. That means Darvish is pitching game 1 of the division series out of 5 games. So if things go sideways, it's not a big deal. We got 4 other games to make up for it. But Darvish being Darvish, he could be sneaky, and he's going to have a great deal of rest, and all that. I mean, who else are we going to get pitched? Matt Waldron? Mr. Knuckleball? I mean, he's, great during the regular season, but if we put him in the postseason, that knuckleball is going to, do some serious damage to us with the unpredictability on where he's going to place it. So I've said my piece. I've already given you guys, the business. I appreciate you giving me the vine.
Absolutely, Dexter. Appreciate it. Thanks again for the references. It does make a good point too about the next. They have to plan for the next series. I mean, everything is played out and laid out with, all right, if we're pitching this guy here, then this here, then this here, and then we got to get ready for the divisional series of the weekend. And if this thing goes 3, then we have to use another starter for the divisional series. If it doesn't go 3, then we can go to the next guy and we can get one of these guys back for game 1 of the divisional series. And the divisional series, you only need 3 starting pitchers. So if you're only going to use 3 starting pitchers in the divisional series, it's going to be you, Darvish, starting game 1. This is assuming. So let's lay it out. As Dexter said, you have Pavetta start game 1, Frank, correct? Of the wild card series.
Yes.
You have Dylan Cease go game 2, right? And if you win those first 2 games, guess what you get to do for the divisional series?
Reset the rotation.
You get to reset. Now, you're going to go with you, Darvish, with game 1. And then guess what you can go to? Then you can go to Michael King, and then you can go to whoever you want. You're Pavetta. You go Darvish, and then go back to Pavetta. And then you come back here for the divisional series. It might be Cease. It might be somebody else. But with the day's rest, you only need 3 starting pitchers. I don't mind the Cease King piggyback. Because here's the thing. As much as we're talking about protecting Cease, you kind of have to protect the King a little bit too, because you don't know how many pitches the King can go. I mean, he's still trying to build up right now at the end of the season. He didn't get a full season. He didn't take a full season. He's still kind of building his way up. And right now, the Padres obviously don't think he could be a built-up starter. So you need to get through that first order. You got to get through the order first for Michael King. And who's a better person to do that than the guy that actually looks pretty good first time through the order in Dylan Cease? There's another kind of philosophy you could do if you want to talk about the divisional series when it comes to pitching, Frank, that was brought up earlier today on our airwaves that I do find very interesting. We're going to talk about it when we come back. Final segment of the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Join Bennett Woods, the Braden Surprenant Show. That's Frank and I. And Gwen and Chris for a postseason watch party at Park 101 in Carlsbad on Wednesday to watch Game 2 between San Diego and Chicago. Park 101 is a bi-level sports bar with a rooftop deck and huge screens. There will be North County's best barbecue, craft cocktails, and we'll give away autographed baseballs. It's all presented by Estrella Jalisco Light Mexican Lager. Join us Wednesday at Park 101, located at 3040 Carlsbad Boulevard in Carlsbad Village. All right. I did think this was kind of interesting, to say the least, about what you could potentially do. Now, they're not going to do this in the wild card series. They've already announced what they're doing. It's Pavetta 1, it's Cease 2, and it sounds like even though they haven't announced Yu Darvish for Game 3, it sounds like it's probably going to be Yu Darvish for Game 3. So that's kind of the laying of things out. Now, earlier today on Bennett Woods, there was a discussion about whether or not, like, what do you do about maybe a different way to do things? Maybe you do the whole Wandy Peralta, Randy Vasquez opener situation that you did in LA. Now, it works a little bit better with the Cubs because of the left-handed hitters that they have at the top of their order. And the thing is, you could do it for Dylan Cease, too, if you wanted to. I don't think Dylan Cease is going to have success coming out of the bullpen. I mean, for everything else, when you talk about Dylan Cease, like, I don't think he could be a guy that has been a starter his entire career and then get thrown into the bullpen and expect him to have good results out of the bullpen. I just don't see it. I don't see the success there. I don't think it's going to be, I don't think he could do it. But in a perfect world, if you thought about it from this perspective, like, you need to see Dylan Cease, don't let the top of the Cubs order see Dylan Cease early in the game. Have them their second time through see Dylan Cease. So what you do is you start with an opener. And with lefties at the top of their order, you start with Wandy Peralta. But what if you took it a step further? I think it's interesting, to think about for later on in the postseason, if you need to. Let's say you needed to have an opener situation. If the top of the order is mostly lefties, like, I think you could do this against the Dodgers, right? So they did against the Dodgers. They had Wandy Peralta start the game. And you're facing a couple of lefties up at the front, right? Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, mixed with Mookie Betts in between. That's kind of the way that they do their top 3 spots in the order, in some type of order. If you're going to start with Wandy Peralta, why don't you just start with Adrian Morejon? Why don't you start the game with Morejon? He has had some starting experience, but let's have Morejon go out there. Is that not high leverage? Is the first 3 batters of the game their best players you're going to see 3 times if you play things out correctly? You're going to see them a minimum of 3 times. They're going to get 3 at-bats. Start with Morejon. I like that better. If you're going to use an opener, you need a lefty. Why don't you just start Morejon? And then have Morejon go against the top 3 in an order, especially a lefty-heavy lineup at the top of an order. You have to face that top of the order 3 times. Why not get Morejon for the first 3 batters? If he does pretty well, you can get a little bit more after that. And then you go with whoever is supposed to be the starter that day. Maybe it's King. Maybe it's Dylan Cease. Maybe it's Randy Vasquez. Those are guys that could use some help at the beginning part of a game. So why have the top 3 in the order see your starting pitcher when they can see Adrian Morejon, especially if it's lefty heavy? Like, why start Peralta? You go Morejon one time. If he could probably go 2 innings. Have him go 2 innings. Have him go six batters. And then you go to your starter. Michael King, Dylan Cease, Randy Vasquez. You ask them to go through the order 1 time. You're asking them for 3 innings, maybe 4 max. And so now you've made it through. If let's say the starter goes 2 innings, you've made it through 6 innings with Morejon, and you've made it through with your starter. Now you got 3 innings in the back. It could be Estrada. which I think gives a lot of people concern with the way he's pitched in the last couple of days. But you can go Vasquez, and then maybe you go King, and then you go Miller and Suarez. I mean, there's a lot of different ways you could do it. I think it's interesting. You're still getting the same innings out of these guys. You're just having the top of their order face one of your better bullpen arms. And then you use your starter in the middle innings, and then you get to your back end of the bullpen. I think it's an interesting topic of conversation. Now, they're not doing that against Chicago because they've already announced their starters, but it is something that they can do in which they're giving some different looks for the teams that they're playing. Now, the thing is you've already used Morejon, but you're going to use Morejon against against the top of the order anyway. Why not do it to start the game? You have to find ways. You have to find the pitchers that you want to use against the top of their order 3 or 4 times. Now, wherever that happens in the game seems to be different. If you eliminate it early in the first 2 innings and you go shutout ball, right? Everything goes according to plan, which never is really the case. But I don't mind the roll of the dice. I mean, these are the moves that you have to make to win in the postseason. You got to get a little aggressive. So Morejon starting against the first 6 guys in the order, 2 innings off the books. Go 4 innings with your starter in between. And now you get to the back end. And the thing is, it's not like you're throwing Estrada against the top of the order. You're going to throw like a guy like Estrada against the bottom of the order. Maybe a David Morgan. Or, Bradley Rodriguez has looked pretty good. I just, throwing him to the Wolves would be interesting. Mason Miller is probably going against the top 3 in their order at either the 7th, 8th, or 9th inning. And then you go with your closer in Robert Suarez to finish out the game. It's a different way of doing things in the postseason. And to me, the way that the Padres rotation has been pitching with guys like Darvish and Cease, right, that have shown signs of being okay, having some metrics that are good, but not being 100% in the back end. Your biggest asset's your bullpen. Why don't you might as well throw the bullpen against their top of the order? I don't know. I think it's an interesting topic of conversation. I think it's very interesting to say. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. What says you, Frank?
The more and more you outthink yourself, and the more and more you outmanage yourself, the more and more likely you are to lose the game. And to go back to the Met game yesterday, Sean Manaea started yesterday through an inning and 2/3. The Mets used 8 pitchers. Edwin Diaz pitched the 5th and the 6th innings. That's called outmanaging yourself.
What was the score at that time?
4-0.
I know. I already have 4-0. That doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
If that game was like you had a lead and that was the top of their order, I think
then
it's a little bit
you
different.
get it. But that is called outmanaging yourself. That is called putting yourself in trouble. The best way to ensure that you are going to screw something up is by doing something different than you've done all year long. Don't overthink it. Just go out there. Just play the game the way you've done it all year long. Manage the way you've done it all year long. We saw what happened in Los Angeles when they got swept. Shildt outmanaged himself.
I didn't mind the Peralta Vasquez
himself.
thing.
No, it's not a bad idea, but just keep it simple. That's all you have to do. Keep it simple. Play the game that you know how to play. And you saw what happened the very next weekend. They got swept in Los Angeles, trying to do all these tricks and spectacular things. The next weekend, they take 2 out of 3 at home by just playing baseball. Keep it simple. That's all you have to do. Don't overthink it. Just go out there and play.
Well, people don't
manage
want to
like normal.
They don't want to see Dylan Cease do that. So
too bad.
Trying to find solutions. That's the thing. It's like for everybody that has complained today, there hasn't been too many solutions that have made a lot of sense. I think it's an interesting topic of conversation. I think it's an interesting way to do things. I am all about mixing up looks. I am all about making things a little bit different. as long as your pitchers are able to do it. Now, I don't believe Dylan Cease can come out of the bullpen, so I don't think he's a proper use of that. But for guys like Michael King and Randy Vasquez, those are guys that are going to be used out of the bullpen. Those are guys that both pitched out of the bullpen in New York for the Yankees. I think you could do that a little bit more. I don't mind it for like a guy like Michael King that's going to need help because of how limited he has been used this season because of injuries. But you'd find different ways to win the game. I don't mind the creativity there. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Let's get out to Tom and Mira Mesa. Tom, you're on the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on?
Hey, Brian. Great to listen to you guys. The combination of the human factor and analytics, right? How do we find that balance? I think the Cubs have a bunch of 30-homer guys. And so, can our starting pitching keep them in the yard? Or can we play enough small ball to only give up solo shots and overcome what we might give up? That's kind of where my head's at with it.
Yeah, and the weather's going to be a factor too. I mean, it's either the wind's either blowing in or it's blowing out, and it's two totally different Wrigley Fields when the wind is blowing in and when the wind is blowing out. We've seen that. I mean, when the wind is blowing out, we have seen this particular series turn into a home run derby. And this year, remember this year, Frank? You remember the game in the games in Chicago where the wind was blowing in? I mean, Bogarts probably should have hit 2 home runs in one of those games. They both died at the wall. So I feel like depending on which way the wind's blowing really affects this game. If the wind is blowing in, I think that helps the Padres more than it helps the Cubs. I really do. I mean, I know the Padres don't hit a lot of home runs, but they find other ways to score runs, and their pitching staff, which has been giving up and getting ambushed early in games due to home runs, if they got the wind on their side, I think that's a major help for San Diego Padres pitching. I know you're working on stuff, but what's your take on that?
No, I think you're right. I think there's me and my uncle who's a big Cubs fan. We're talking about it the last night or 2 nights ago.
He gave us the recipe for winning.
Yeah, he did say that don't give the Cubs offense hope. Shut them down, have a 3-0 lead going into the 5th, and they'll fold like an accordion. He also said if it's tied, they'll put 14 runs on you before you can blink. But we both kind of have the feeling that something unique is going to happen this series that's going to play a big role. And we both said it was going to be that net. The netting, the basket is going to play some sort of role in this series. We both feel.
We didn't really have time to get into this, but here's the deal. Like they have the contingency plans for Thursday if there is a game 3. If the Padres are done, like if Detroit and Cleveland is done by day 3, nothing changes. Everybody else is going to be on the regular schedule. If the Padres and Cubs series is over, which we don't really care about, then everybody moves back a time slot. If the Yankees and Red Sox series is over, then you got the Padres and Cubs move to a 6:08 Eastern time, 5 o'clock Central, which gives us a 3:08 start on the West Coast. A little bit different if the Red Sox and Yankees is over. If Reds and Dodgers are over, Padres will be at 2 o'clock Pacific time. In any 2-game scenarios, if it's Padres and Red Sox series, then we're the early game at back to our normal scheduled time. But it sounds like most of the situations in which there is a Thursday, it sounds like the Padres game is getting moved to later, unless the 2 American League games series are over, or just the Guardians and Tigers series is over. If all the games are resolved and you just get one series for any 1-game scenario, the game will start at 7:38 Eastern time on ESPN. So a 4:38 Pacific time. If every series is over but ours.
And again, reminder, the Padres are the only series on ABC. Everything else will be on ESPN. Padres, Cubs, ABC.
Another Bartman catch would be great for the Padres. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Game 1 of the NL Wildcard Series. Gwen and Chris coming up next.